can only say distance for no one there, distance for no one you say, any and foul more. And they don't know distance no channel licenses are more. And to need your call Cape Coast Squawk or Crack or West Korea pet. And to a man be beer, a man and him when yam say, and a crater about that who said, maybe a teacher ni mapa. I don't acquire bachelor's degree in accounting or Lego, I wouldn't be accountant. She's a successful Korean social for Nanya Budding Crater chess and power accountant. Yeah, teacher for so here Budding Crater come on. In your license, none you who say yes, a teacher for. Now your money, a boom. It's an saying. Now to some Crawford has a license, and then this is for a big chum.
I also be chum.
Mucho money a teacher for me, a teacher, once a teacher, always a teacher. The young man who are Samra Brucher call her, and a seminar license. Some me teacher. Mention Kuntan, so now I'm contact is a license, and also have a choir and me passing the year. And me mean a budding crater as I would ye. Senior license na Quebec terms we need bachelor's degree in mathematics into which ram kuntenye ye. Enti license na abagana no e yade a ebe hye a teacher dwuma mu kna. MSN no na ndisi aka se ye betwam. Me no ma teacher fo. Mo ye nipa mo bɔ mo homoden eye dwumaden mo oman. Omampani na na do dan ko kufu ado e se mo na daache. Mo betete mo fra. Ombe boamo me yakonanim enu nti na teaching allowance e beto ya na 500 say odi 1200 yes enti de womu ne say eniema ben eye ema de sua konanim no e so ko teacher for minia wunma de ba ko oman yi mu na ye ni da yesi ho no a enkwala nko school teacher for kra enko na e ko ne akotete wo mo Oko oman bebrebe so omadisua akọ nanim no ye woda ye tuasi hod my friend people free day sada no enkwala nko school a teacher for na eko no mo kwa ya ko kire omade amomehu se ekwan we na afa so enkwala we umbetimi ya de obekokra na teacher we din enkwala test aba we din de aba o se nsohwe we ye enkwala wo ma anya de o se de na de ndi omtimi ya de o so ke mi kire ni sei no ma tro adwene na manwumesua na okona ni mo school ho na bi ni ga na house abre na o mampani eni so ade hu mu nti di aba free people free day Ghana Education Service for ya a teacher for nya bre adwundwen wo mo ho edisua de na nkwala ne ba o matimi a kire o ma de enti enwumesua mu nsam no the friend of quality say enwumesua be kwa nanim ne mu ado na o ma no nya ho mfaso ene the friend access ye bie kwa ato am obi atimi akobi eno ena new manifesto e de abedru ba bia ye ba be ka ho so
quality and access
and relevance of the education system.
Boiling point 2 free man was just some fun. What FM HFM wo Kumase any affiliate station na ene Dr. Ya Aduchum oye bosomche emra shebedwani na ene no twetwem komo honorable bi de school dia mu sini wo feyase
aha you know yeah de na esi $1 million per constituency
under code
yeah middle belt
special initiative
yenya 1 million na you said the kesi
papa
and I see STEM Academy first of its kind in the country so yeah the $1 million ni bi and I ho adwuma no so obosontwe
I see and in the way the headmaster or bosomtwe or feyase hon ono twabre mfoni
yes
or say we are the mentor
that's nice
na kuma atone yem and inti yane Dr. Yaduchum ye pe na chese ye ko another segment also discussion na eba because so Dr. Nana Yaw Afriye award Nana Ayew Afriye MP edema afijase asokore honor constituencies ya omde a man who do elections so the hwegum not less than 80% na egum adma ko ba fi ewa ha ana honorable Kennedy akompreko Japan asen central ma shebedwani nso so ewo aha na yewo asnemanse across this year no ya between kwadwen komo kakra bi abra Dr. Baumiani MPP omode tracker between district bi ade omaye no NDC for Babeka Babontin Babeka say asene manso across district no abanye project back crow. Hundio, abanye project back crow. Na antisimanum cry divine man. Now on the onche project crow. Any crow crow honey in location. Na fi ya twama tifo. Nemwa more hono. Say mobetimi akwakwe. But obetimi the email about fakeke@gmail.com. Na yenti abrafo nkratwo mra kakra na fi eba bibi aka no yemfa ento aso na enkomotwetwe pii ana wo ha na no ase aka yehwe na yeka eho aso.
Na eja ana esohie ehyewo a fa 3cp efra eso fifa so eno ano no wo hyewu wi a fa 3cp efra eso fifa so na beboa obebre 3cp ehye pimples epompo ekro na ekumkro ene mrimu ya wonso 3cp so de enye na wo drugstores bia mu atufonko adepa pharmacy ene SGSSB ene hwani mu okanshi fra 0302 664 832 kumasi adepa pharmacy e wadum ene hello fm ene hwani mu 3cp efie bia hia 3cp bambo
the Marco Roofing na monprenie the Marco Roofing wasisem se wo besi dan den chance papa boso na achama wonti ana the Marco e kai wo se eba alusin ani aluminium roofing set self lock IBR IDT and the keke kan ho dia wadam fua the Marco akofa leasing premium premium afe echa enya pentimamento emfedi anwenache na nsuro eponchene woto obema 20 years warranty the Marco Roofing say alusin anasa aluminium and a new leasing premium kotobi wo wanakache wo kasua budumburam opposite Triple X mile 11 aban kasua toll booth adanta one West Africa Secondary School division mu for 0244 468 819 0302 957 598 the Marco Roofing sheets evergreen.
Enkomode de koso na wonkoa obetra ha den enkoa me kobie menuma na obia skata afofe asimo ho ne sei ubie wonumu a ya nkaboni bi ba very unpleasant na ubie hunu kwaya onfa so nka kire wo enye se menimo masisa me toothpaste asisa ma brewo cleansing charcoal toothpaste and activated charcoal whitening mouthwash ebogam no ban e ma wo se ya den se pampan efiri wonum ebesia no e wo antibacterial properties ya eboa e combat bad breath na activated charcoal ye wo mono eno so aboa ama wo se aye fite cleansing charcoal toothpaste any activated charcoal whitening mouthwash I am a last stop ayese tete no na nananom di bidie atwi wonse no ema wonse ye kama no we de more research akom se wo petodo a ko Royal Dutch Pharmaceuticals ewo Adabraka opposite Evangel Assemblies of God Church anafre 027 665 2200 and 056 188 6514 FD ashusha sa ejedi enkrato yi mu agye atomu se eye
Hey, Unya, Kawi, you feel smooth. Kawi, fuel am the Guman Gold Super XP Ron 95. I have one additives, Papa B. Gold Super XP Ron 95. And yes, I'm Bobadium. Debut Gold Super XP Ron 95 on a higher grade fuel. Now, so no one no more fuel near Pepe. How much should I and Senia and Rentemo until Bomo Siska and the Sansu engine no more ye Phoebe frame. Canon was also into when you know. Nebo ne normal for near pepe. Go Super XP Ron 95 for dear. And who here said driver via Becassa would Jessica extra via Quaji hydrate fuel. Golia Yenina. Goil. Good energy.
The exhibition of the voters register for the 2020 elections is here.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana will display the provisional voters register at all polling stations designated as exhibition centers where voters registered recently from 18th to 25th September 2020, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Do not assume that your name is in the register. Go personally to your polling station with your voter's ID card as evidence to 1. Verify your details of registration to make sure that your name, photograph and other particulars are in the register. 2. Make claims for omitted data such as name, age, or sex to be included in the register. 3. Amend details such as incorrect name, sex, age, and unclear photographs in the register and on your voter ID card. 4. Know your polling station ahead of the elections. And 5. Object to the inclusion of names of unqualified persons on stated grounds. The EC has introduced a mobile telephony tracking SMS platform to enable registered voters access their registration details using their mobile phones. Very simple. Text your voter ID to 1422 on all networks to verify your details on the voters register. To ensure a safe and secure exhibition of voters register exercise, the Electoral Commission will direct all registrants to observe compulsory protection protocols like wearing of face masks, temperature checks, social distancing and hand sanitizing instituted by government as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic at all exhibition centers. Exhibition of the Provisional Voters Register is from 18th to 25th September 2020. 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day, including Saturday and Sunday. Remember, the only way to guarantee that your name is in the voters register is to take part in the exhibition exercise. 2020 Exhibition of the Voters Register exercise. Your safety, our concern.
Participate in the exhibition of the voters register.
So fridge and as air condition for fratono. When you say Energy Commission our app for Flobia, a more who say electrical appliance wotono. Hey papa and as any papa.
App needing certified appliance app. Now but download your Google Play Store so into Google Play Store. Now search for certified appliance app.
Download the install app no. So install app new year. Afei enter model number. Yeah what yellow label a fridge and as air condition
Fridge and air condition information in a baby good phone so. For information no compare yellow label no. Next say a pana. App Koima and Yamahodin to do obey you Busumi Bia. Oh, Ghana is Sikamu.
Affiliation also say no yellow label, no good. It is a label yellow mohwa. And talk up Korea between your bow and one who store a band with power within your air condition. And the fridge is an entry Yamahodin baby. Bra water fridge and air condition no. A Brecron Energy Commission for so say, Bia Ujina Tadiano, won't feed in a papana. Certified appliance app, Ebe Bomo was saving and Yamahodin, no Sisika. Energy Commission, no yellow label, no good.
I'm a father.
That's how we are best cocoa family. We bias. When you scrape your canyon, Nabra women none and
Oh, really? Or AMG cocoa tea fertilizer another room. Listen, or your fertilizer. Oh, the moon
100%.
Oh, assassin Sazi bit today. Nitrogen, phosphorus,
potassium,
calcium, zinc. No more can be. Share only Shannon so. Fertilizer sign one nitrate nitrogen. Zakwa go chemical shop yarema. Ebenye biato. Inti kwekwe kwafo etufu. Anaye koko hoduma ko na kaje woze. What the fertilizer? Some another one. AMG koko nti fertilizer. What's a good job?
Fertilizer,
Therefore, se wupe wine and sata, vipacho pi, Shishaman family wine. I'm ranting me and sa wumufi Stellenbeck, South Africa, ye nature wine. Red wine, I would only be any Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and a Syrah. White wine and so, ebony Chardonnay, and a Chanel Blanc. Wupesa will enjoy wine, ya, vipacho pi, white wine, or 7 ice cold and a red wine and so maninya cool kakra wo pache de bi dia mo pani bia man family wine wo ye party and a yen so a ma free man family wine artist optional was Spintex Road in Krankwa and a sole distributor e wo Ghana at to phone for 020-811-0618 059-261-1618 and now 020-816-1601 man family wine obia see ye num ni nyansemu won to many pa woni fie dumotwe ensesa penfo num bie FDA ahwehwe sa edwedie nkrato imagine to mu se eye
Awas Unisex Boutique if from Osamumra or Kofania Papa Fefra Broche Abba. Ebia so the 10% discount at Tosu. Awas Unisex Boutique what the Emania Maya Italian leather shoes Abba bags and slippers are Abasu Abasu Brain Abba. Mary Kay Cosmetics, custom jewelry, designer perfumes and so are the Brea Abba. Mani Mema Monai so pa. Shoe plus Akofabia Abba. Bema Whoop quality Italian leather shoes. Tesa Peter Ascot any collecting no more the Biaba. Afe sandals, belts, khaki trousers, jeans, Italian shirt, any quality designer watches and so on the Abba. Amount for quality and we hear more. Our Unisex Boutique say our aftershave any colognes they say Givenchy, Lagerfeld and oil perfumes. Our Unisex Boutique say 10% discount at the Nyama. Our Unisex Boutique Wajolu Said Plaza ground floor I Benjolu Junction
0244 649379.
Ebisu Watesano Ebe Police Depot North Kaneshi Road in so
0244 649379.
Our Unisex Boutique a new branch will OWUSU about 50 meters from MTN Junction.
Malaria fever, loss of appetite, mono, say a punua,
Hepa mesha usunumbi.
Still Franco Trading your phone papa fee.
Franco Trading Enterprise our phone BAB. Say a Samsung, Nokia, Itel, Infinix, iPhone, Huawei, Ebia.
Oh, our original laptops and desktop, computer and phone accessories, USB cables, phone cases, power banks, hands-free chargers, ne antiviruses.
Franco your noa TVs aba 32 and 43 inch. Franco TVs no any daho. Yana Jodie.
Say crowd you hear Franco Bia, what me turn online, auto free francotrading.com, and now download the Franco app no to phone so free Google Play Store and Apple App Store. And the auto no online Bia, we 30% discount. The auto Bia or the bro baby.
Shisha Franco Trading our Facebook page no, and our more than 100,000 likes no.
Shannon Franco Facebook page no, now more than 100,000 likes no. Franco Trading Enterprise head office, Wadabraka, and the Roxy Cinema bus stop no. They didn't anymore. Branches no be Circle, Osu, Tema, Medina, Hachu, La Paz, Kasua, and Ghana for 99 and free 0555 939311.
Anokwa. Send a guest who will clinic. Esa ya die. You been let your
on Mon FM. On Mon FM. On Mon FM.
So especially I say your government here was some kind of tribal agenda. If you say here say me ko na makwako ma wonso so say for me yina Ghana bako. So be because say me pese votarians they will say na enya no correct. Na better say me ameko ho no ne hu manim etie me akasa me ne amene wo akasa directly. Tomayama and MPP are buying. Yes.
Stop. Emma Makwaba de Boling Pony, so man 107.1 FM, Ashefem, Kumasi Ashville Station, Jinaka, Yane Doctor Ya Aduchum, AVA, na Afe Yedi, Diakano. Atwaso Dr. Adjum na yesinti MPP manifesto engoma suamuno entwaso no ene say
ene say free senior high school ho adwuma ye beye ne ahyemu kna ama bibia koye pepepe na afi ye ne zongo development fund omo ministry zongo for inner city and zongo ministry no so any ministry of education akabum near see model school e was zongo communities region bia benya baako te say model schools are president Kufo ACNB and the president Kufo adon so oba ba musi school akese no awoko region bia ibesi school fe baako ama e zongo communities nim ansa na wi-fi anso abe schools mu awokwa wo computer bi ho a enter ne ho asem wi-fi ho asem bia enya de a ebeden ama enkwala timi afa abefo kwan so esua de na de baako a eye anigye pa me hu se mi nua me ndisi fo so akotwe bia so manifesto mu ene se wokọ enwasua ewo school ntraso mu se tertiary ade baako na ha mofrey papa na se wo wie senior high school na wonim nwuma na nso sika wo de beko enam enhihye na wo ho a na se wokope obi a ono ewo pension owo senate ansa na ono abedi oginamu enti wo hwese be ye nuam nkwale yo mo nkrase ni wo fa bi nya ba adwuma ebe na onya nteto ho na edi aginamu ama no no so atimi akwaji busen bi to be hwe na wo wie senior high school kama enso na university no nya bi anko ye aban ye ni so ade hu mu ye manifesto mu ene se sabri wo ko hwehwe bosan bi na wajibi de ko university a de uhia no national ID uhia so bia babi de gina mu bia amount na ye ko hwe NDC mfo so de asho mu de num just ya de pa bia
omo wi anya omo aniu
minia enti ye de ya ka ato ho dada se ekwan bia so sabri free senior high school abai I am afraid enya school bi akoi abanso be bie kwan ama wo matimi nso akọ university no makọ manim na wo tumpon wo mabrabo mu no na o man no nso etumpon enti nhihye ya ye de agu akọ mu no de ya de a ebeboa ma nwumasuen akọ nanim papa wo hwa online learning ye de aba ene ho nsem manifesto ewo mu medical kan yin na afi ICT computers ban ede ebegu school mu
atisa say free senior high school crown on benya access to free Wi-Fi
baby and afi
Gallop university na
yes university na beba ho na Gallop no Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes project no na schools mako empim du wo mu nwumasua ewo fom mo ye primary school and junior high school abai twesika foto kese pa 219 million say yem fam one schools ye nanimu na 7 preduasa so ni ska obanso timi ko public school no timi ko nanim na nkoba say yiso titi mo we na ba ko private school and san wetimi akonanim enti say schools in Kindri encourage ni mo eniema nkoye eho ena isika omudi ye hodwuma capitation grind bi beka omo ho teacher for ho be church omo computer ne ade beko ha mo atimi de sua de eniema aban peso ye ho nsa sa schools yi omo hyebre ebe sesa afi wo hwe adan aban efiti ase osi beko so asi atro so pa ama schools adan senior high schools enya semi basic schools adan aban efiti ase osi si school mako adam mako ahanu ni akire yebeko so na aban aye ho adwuma kindergarten foforo se wuko nkro bebre so ye si kindergarten KG dan fe so mo bi ba na mo hu ehun fo ni pa na wo hwe nkra bi wo so me de beba fe kro KG na fe kro akwa wo hu ba bi pa nkwala na tie na bonframa bon ho akurasi ni na what da bi mu pa hwehwe ne bonframa bon ho anaka se me kame peso ba ya anka bebo ami this year also oba mi ensa oba bo so nhwe e dey say $1 million per constituency ni CB ka ho enti aban mi ebi na $1 million no so ye djuma enti afoforo pa mu no sem
na $1 million per constituency kra ebi se nyampa
we the million say any friend ni no yesu sa na yare no o si de na mi say na mi hu na de sa be de me den me ni ate enti me de na mi say enka $1 million na ama enka minya masters bangles miensa ensi community mean sebo some STEM academy school ɛwɔ auditorium kɛseɛ ɛwɔ library ɛwɔ science block coming to me nkosi kg miɛnsa ɛnyɛ sese kora nanu deɛ ba yi ka ho enum kaiden metumi asi coming to me ti deɛ minim ne sɛ sika ne ba yɛ no adwuma ayɛ ɔbosontwe no ɛna edidi ho adanse deɛ ehunu ne edi ho adanse enti obi kasa ama me deɛ minim sɛ ɛbae ɛma yɛde ayɛ adwuma na minua sɛ wohwɛ adwuma pa na nado dankwaku fo ado ayɛ na wɔkɔ so yɛ na wɔkɔhwɛ sɛ obinom se yɛde ɛba sabre university for yɛ mu school fees no yɛbɛti bi akyɛ mo university for school fees a wɔti bi akyɛ wɔ mu yi samra na wɔ hɔ no na mu tua light bill no mu tua water bill so mu tua bi mu mu tua bi
and this time yeah
oh yes
university no mu tua
pa na no pa ho so a de enim ene edi ho adanse sɛ wosi school fees obɛti bi akyɛ wɔ mu a emre bi bae a no mampani bi de John Dramani Mahama na odi bibi bae a na efrɛ no progressively free ema wo hyɛ bɔ sɛ mo a mo nkwala ɛkɔ de ɛyɛ day students no mo school fees a mo tua no yɛ tiagu minua wamfa kapra nkɔmɛ school bi akɔfom time na na dankwaku fo ado bae ansa na progressive
2016 na mo
yeah wontua umese
even on Shabo 2016 say
yeah ntua
boarding students from schools are here deprived schools no
so this at August
ama minua o
kind of good girls
yes oh intimidated the American say me eba ngumesua ho anya politics ma me o baby am fini baby am abedru obi a common trans enye me nua keto akoto ne pre kwa nkeme enye school ni bi anko na me nam ngumesua so koduru abrochime mu abrofo ye adwuma semase nipa ha nu na nado dankwaku fo ado ba be hu adwuma me ye no se krache mesrawo jade wuye na bra boa me na ye nye free senior high school me hwe na nim am na me kem tum se hwe uni baby am fra me dura minya adwuma we dua na mra na afi me de kwa adwundwum no se asma pani ka kire mi me no nye school anka me ni abrofo so wa ha o enti so ase me mra me boa no ne nkwara dodo ntimi nko school a ade nti na me nko me ko hu opani bi o na me futu for mentor me call Americani me call na say o ma obi pe man pani o se me mra e no se yaw me ka sem ba ko akiro America de wa ye adwuma wa ha ye ni jo ho na emom wo free mu America ntosini ebi a na wo krom ho de wa anko a o ma ne betosini ntikọ o kae no eto makoma so ena mbedi o mampani echi ede ba me ba nso me nu me ho da o mampani yo bi aye dwuma ma no o ma hu sa mpa dwuma wo ya ma me mani so ne ni abre so opani pastor na senata na chi am ye mpuntu ekesi aba mi nya medwuma ho mfra brochire ma se be politics say ye be keka propaganda da bi ye bai se be ya ohia ni bi enso ne da achi be sesa seminua no
dog me busa o wo wa fefo a ebia ono mu san ye ewo krom ana mpotem ho district wa udi se ne bia omusu nim nguma te se wa na omo nya kwanyanti
minua
omo antimi ankosu na ebia abrabo no ankose
koye bebre ahumte minua ahumte enti se wuni hia de hu sa na me dada wo kan free senior high school sam na ananse sam na wo to obiti muzansa na wo school we na akwa kaja ache pram so anu odam fom twi na mse ja ache pram so na menya bi koye no me kaminye sika ntro tranko ma kwa disadelo
my teacher pass
for my teacher pass ho me ko do ho dey say heaven e ho na me papa betimi abo ma mako enti ye na sabi e free sa de enumu no se wo ti free senior high school ye osakom se share ade ade mi ko di abroche ma mi di abrofo so no wo senya de papa na ye be yama nkwara no bi ndaache o ma be yem panim papa sen yen minua ye be kum ye ho abodawura manana do dankwaku fo ado amagana fo atinyo pa wo ye se be ya daache minua se menti akonwa we so a akola bi nso be fi kunta na se abetena akonwa we so na watim no adi nkomo enya ngumesu ankam ni da wem ka hakra mnim ba bi e wo na campus ma ba ha no obekasa ngumesu ya de me ba ha no ese tim de nkwara bebrebe nso be duru ha na dachi omo ka maka se na nado dankwaku fo ado adaro ma na me kodwo mensamba me nso metimi abetran kran me ye madwuma e beduru samre no ma no nso mpuntuo akonanim eno ne da esi ani so ayehwe nu nti na Ghana for Moadaroma sire ne nam kwampa so mo manku enko dichim mo manko dichim kohwe amenam Moadaroma monta na nado dan kokufu ado achi na onimka manenka na nkuanim na daachi enyina abeka se to abapa mo man sesan eno ho asem na menua enwumre yedi nkomo mfesem di twato medase
yadase bebre Dr. Yaduchum mrasha bedwani obosomtwe or deputy minister education and yatene kan odon messages bebraba emails bebraba but menkai this one from Kokodo was a good evening KK. Today is a day I will never forget in my 65-year life.
Wow.
The minister is a great asset to the government of Amenado. Please kindly arrange for the ministers of various key sectors of government to appear on the program to explain and articulate key issues and policies along the lines as competently delivered by Honorable Yaduchum. May God continue to bless and guide your station to serve this our dear nation. Pardon, yentie nana asem Amenado asema okanchre omanef.
Okay.
Yentie asem.
As I said, I'm person can some Mayama MPP are buying MPP are buying MPP are buying yes Mayama MPP are buying yes as I said, I'm person can some Mayama MPP are buying I am MPP cool so many dodo it's Madam say and 1999 minimum can say. See, I know not so much as some cancer, Crana, the Rabbi should be Biasia, Yashase, Madame Supa, Yatim Mayama and PP are buying, yes, then you know, as I said, I know not me person can send me Juma Mayama and PP are buying, I am MPP cool, so many dodo. It's Madame say, and no 19 and then no Maba, minimum can say. See, I know not so much as some cancer, Crana, the Rabbi should be Biasia, Yashase, Madame Supa,
Nana, Yati, Yaso, Yadas, so home, I jump pa, yeah.
Sanet here, because Wasumo Mano, the son say a Cosugensa, a Beco baby, a bowling point, man was some point 1 FM, Asher from Okumasini Fleet stations, no, in Yad Makobe, if you are Hanona Bokan, a betwaso. My Godin, Asne. Manso Acrosso MC DC Nidine Honorable Alex Inko Honorable Akwaba said ya makana ye ne won common ye tietia after MPP betray over 17,000 projects on my Emma on betray baby our district go more tracker ye de ye ne ade no NDC Baba on Timber can say, Omoboa, Nasne, o district or the Omonyashi. In the you new unit in Timbia. As I say, Akunya Soshi. A DM Puntujuma, Anna, Nanado Danko Kufuado Abai, or the Abba Asene Manso across the Dika Crano, Sad District, a woman Afanabe.
If I tell you, Medasi, Mitia, Metifu in I war. Me constituency asane across Manso constituency and I district near asane Manso across equality AMA your district now Eastern region na a part of Brim Central Municipal Assembly Achimada and Amenado by 2017 or if he at Brim Central home in the Benya your district no March 15 2018 and the inaugurated assembly no and I'm there this year August 3rd 2018 the assembly na di fie mienu enefa yeguso aye bo adwuma asomo man Ghana na yasomo e mampanyin na na danko akufuado mempi Honorable George Kwame Aboaje tafe no oluwa no oya abranti a no so eboa na constituency no etumpon ono na ofiase na district ba no meso mabeto aso a menini mienu yakabo ma ye bo adwuma ama district no say NDC for ka say tracker no no me wo mu no yantra ana say yen district no nyoma ni ho a enya no kre yen podie na omampanyin abedi akire alaji doctor Mahmoud ba mi ade go no yen nyina na e wo sisi a so far yen presented about 101 projects 101 and no no yen nyina de koy ye project ya ye e district within the last 3.5 years na 130 na ye no omka say minimum yen 50 mra and ameme de no koy 101 so far dey about 63 and eguso until ye were backlog of about 38 they are called track and so about infrastructure, education and health. Yeah, this is your 2 secondary schools. Near across to senior high. And then a school McCoy. Opening school no attitude and MD4 now so the condition of the school
on non FM.
Now the bay Yamrantiano, free SHS timer yeah ban. Now the total student population na 800. Me no ka say what the only a social and say can only 1,900. 1,900.
Just a double.
Yes.
More than double.
Yes. And you.
NDC for to watch say enrollment take off.
And you know. Across senior no you 4 projects. I been see that. You see Abrosia Trasum for the boys. Boys no.
Boys
dormitory. I be fine. Boys in 500. Me no ka say contractor na bosso. Wa price na so ya wa yin wa fix windows obey louvers. Wa share boss by end of October oba hand over na say nyame ya dom na mofra no be school a o matimi anya ba bia da. GMPC A6 unit classroom block. I'm school no she say we do lentil. Afei senior house master ono na say ohwe mofra no oni baby ati e wo school ho enti me no ka say you see senior house masters bungalow ama school no ana afei baby a mofra no e beja o mananso enye enti you see 10-seater WC facility ama school no enti ho 4 say dey e kwan kra ye yeah, standing across school no eka not just across the senior high school no 5 projects and alcohol. Okwa Chamanso the same thing. You see, another we girls dormitory 10 units. I'm a guess no. Afei MP AC 2-story for library and ICT center. And I got fine ABC 6 unit classroom block and contractor na we are about hand over. Then under $1 million per constituency no. You see 12 unit classroom block. Ewa Atraman senior high hall. And the Atraman halls no 4 major projects and akoso that was high school hall.
Existing schools now more improved.
Yes. Yes.
Now more double track maybe.
Across the senior high no double track hall.
Okay. But so far that say EBA can bet me
you bet me ye. You see now you be see 12 unit classroom block and $1 million per constituency. It misses 12 unit classroom block new via. You bet me every double track no kakra.
Okay.
And about basic schools as well. 6 unit classroom block. Yes, Marco 10.
Marco 10.
Yes. 6 unit classroom block.
It's a new schools ana.
New schools. Yes.
I know Muslim for Muslim school ba okra.
Oko Achimesha Yema. And then the gateway to the district from central region.
Okay.
HM Zion. You see 6 unit classroom block with library and headmaster's office and a store.
Okay.
Yes, I see 10-seater WC and a mechanized boho Esama Side School and Side School 3 projects. Boho 10-seater WC first and then the 6 unit classroom block. Opa Achimanso, district na him kona and also collect primary. Yes, 6 unit classroom block. As I see 10-seater WC at the mechanized boho akahun.
Okay.
Okwa across Mikrum. Across Presby. Every time I at school, I buy see a die school that.
Across
sorry na is a day and let's say ACC edamon and Nanado ABC unit classroom block. I mean, no can say contractor goes to our Juma. Oko across the method is one, and also 6 unit classroom Ecoso. Oko Yaminti, and also 6 unit classroom Ecoso. And I could be a suponso. A Honda almost say, Safi, Abai, Betuno. Send this in your 10 wood crowd, how many a sancrophone. Na nyomde esomade an because Nanado by wa bread Nanado abrom light
suppose ho no na nkane ni ho
ya mom light chip compound and this started 2014 omo ndu ba bia ya buy and ya be wi amom
okay
ya sign omo kwan a ekokro no so no just 3.5 kilometers from Manso Osnasi road no so and so we did 30 minutes na saying when you penny anasemi ya ketwa national organizer Tameoku. No, Baba say. In fact, Obefa Kwano so do vifi no and go sign a chi. No, see this na mo ye there honam so Namiadom, Nanado de ama contractor. Me no ka say. Ekwa you 30 minutes etwa no 5 minutes.
Ma ye
guso.
Yeah, ekwa na friend saying.
Suponso junction to Suponso.
Suponso junction to Suponso.
Yes.
Yeah, kwa no mo ye.
Okay. E gusu kota. Ekosa kro no ye 6 unit classroom block amomo. And the Hong Kong Crooked any pay woman be a 500. And so Omania 4 major projects.
Cost about when the baby was and say, Enti, a bedu de Bibia if you're denumere, and I'm a main denumere. Possible so bit to me, I could be a Mahin Cruise, if a movie video be Sinica Crabby at the chair. A man for said the most mobile MPP buyer for the past 4 years in our DC, you know. What to me, a match maybe a good for which a man for Ashe.
Yeah, pa. When I'm a dad manifesto committee, no. If you manifesto now, yes, you have results fair. There were 22 electoral areas.
Okay.
Every electoral area, there are cop. Nyako, it's a your canon. Your projectors, they're Tommy and Sam.
Okay.
Now, anyway, Nyako. I choose one electoral area. Now in Korea also no. Ya koisa e natural say. Ya ba ha, ya ba aban ba na nado ba no. Mo area ha normal wa yeni. And I'll call district wise so a normal na nado ayeni. Oko across the say across so ye didwa Tuesdays and Fridays. A big buckets. And so condition ho na nye. And $1 million per coincidence no. Ministry na say ama ye $1 million separate from the edema constituencies ni say omo ba be redevelop across market. I'm no kasa contractor. Eguso yes. Sa market we are ebenya 96 lockable stores. And at 365 shares no stores na e man no tonton no more. 365 stores. STALL. And at 96 lockable stores and there.
And ye tumu no.
Ye tumu no.
And ab ye ntum.
Okay. And eguso across so your district no kra eson ya across so. Kronu emu akwan nye kra eno ka say Nanado e de ama contractor na me mpiso contractor gusu a oya adwuma na nya na promise Nanado mine I say 2020 the year of OWUSU no ya asane man so across this year ya nya na boso if say ye major rules e wo ho nyina contractor was so amoya adwuma efiesie mu ekoda contractor was so efi man so ekos na say contractor was so efi across so ekos amankasi contractor was so ufi Asuwa Junction call a chance so a contractor was so afi ye kro ba ko Asuwa no
ye de be se Asuwa
okay
that would can no pick Asuwa
no omo to aba ebinya aba 95% ho
okay
na dia ba ko na how o mine no and as a kro no na obofu kakra e yo mo kwan efi ho call ye hwebra bi nso fia ohiafo na me mpiso na Nanado de ama contractor guso a oye sakwan no sisi a ayakama omuko mafuom edom no maba efie ebeton momunya sika ego moto enti asane man so across this way Nanado aban no yenya ahofaso na ye de na se ne bema ye papa oluwa MP no oye obi a oye lobbyist pa
ofaso ho se den komunisi akono se ne ye ne dodo nyina na EP no collaboration between city member of parliament and then the MC and also the DC because you know ababa akwana party ba ko na mosom e de se wonju be mu ya de het mamufo no sa party no and intinde maye no e san example e se be mu nyina
me MPD dey say amanfo ba no besua
o ba ba no musa wo se ne che bi sa
so fa the lack of squad
no car OWUSU no I branded in MP.
Okay.
Yes, you know, a branding a
car. Me debua campaign 2020 no.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. Efita. Okay.
Ndiam anopanso no MP nata.
Sani epe no anam wofa. It ofa ye said the boss say wo kui. Nyame address almost start. Omo outreach program,
Oh, yeah. Oh, DC constituencies be no na e wono. Oh, Accra here MC. Yeah, bako primaries no. Ni nyina incumbent MP be no. A press conference that week no. No catch them. I deal with MP catch them say MP cancel na here mon sinigu.
Onu is easy.
Yes.
Na is in contest.
I'm cry here. Oh, go the M fan on 20.
Aye.
Can the papa.
I don't honorable Dana must start to say mu yi sini na chenko for no. O man for your program ya be hye. Tenu be din komo wo akire ho. Na ABC ti metifa ho no man no so be support so de bi si akoso. Na nkofo ate won kan yi.
Me pa cho you golden.
O fa na e be ja no kwan.
Madam was metia me MP honorable Kwame Aboaje ne me constituents fo nyina menim say sabe o mu tie me. Na umpia nso nim including NDC for ye adwuma ya no NDC for na adwuma mo ye nti se ye bakra ye nso ye ba be den o se ya bro mo agya musu because problems e wo ye constituency ni na no ye solve no one after the other. Victory are several the best the biggest
amona mo hona biggest
yes
wo call that crowd so
aye
and some mo crowd no tourist attraction.
Yes.
Na sa kwan ma ye because ube ube for na ko duara se no na kwan de
sisi ano ye development Ghana tourism development company Adiama contractor na egusu a wo ye adwuma ye stand the face of that place no na be ye biggest tourist attraction center in the eastern region.
Most of the person almost a tracy no.
Oh, 30.
Nipa 30.
Yes.
Nyame min say bi. Me dey you. Me dey don me here the 65. Abuza for just say Jana honorable come asem no. Esopa ntino. Utoma ko da ho ma wo se ni fa so.
Yes. I was saying first. Sakwa no main road no.
Oh, minimum.
Omo ye hu adwuma.
Oh, all right.
Nti this for ya papa Jake start so ye development no. And this for ba man to so. And na do aba o say ye on man charge pa ye say. Nti ye guso ye hu adwuma. Nti mafa akwanya we so na metia me manfo ni nyina. Na ma show mo say December 7 no. Ronaldo ye ma no 80%. Na ye the MP honorable Joy Kwame Aboaje so aka ho na o matoa omunyum apa no. Me do ma say.
That's honorable Alex Inku ono DC de ma asene man so across bowling point o man 107.1 FM HFM e wo Kumasi affiliate stations in na Amerina aka no e be ye Blackboy fi honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan dia ba God yen komu na afi no yamfa niam nsisi ani niam ani kakra na matters are rising na afi yamfa enhwe me mom de ensem bia no me observe no ansem bia bra na NDC launch on manifesto na asem we ne meka orden enye because ade bi wakra na me dwena na me ntiase wontimi nso obi ani wo wiase ha odon enna enye siga nyina nso ne yedi
dabi
enna to dae eso otimi ye dwere kakra
ma wo boro mu nya
eso wo gina ha eso otimi yi wanim na wo gina what did I make
of no
MPP call your manifesto no I think said they were ready to pay to a lot of media houses, of course, relevant one.
Yes.
Na se omo enyemo meboa. And so enya baby ya ena omo dwene so ombeko. To me, so utimi kofa NDC manifesto launcher. And just umbrella campaign jingles are.
Obabo.
Obabo.
Oendo babo.
Bana naza on did I make?
Fa wo babo. Na go fa dey say obetima bo.
So oko pick it. NDC campaign lunch live there. Any NDC for the at the jungle brewer. Some border romo over you can be selective. Del Bono Bino, ebe chatra for NDC, MPP. Ombe chatra for Amenado. God, what is Amenado?
Ombe China, say Obuchantro.
If you hombe 2 foot Ghana for it,
because be diatem.
If you ombe diatem, if you are Omo dashing crophobi hope.
Oh, yes, a damping of spirit.
Are you saying, sir, or network, no? Or by your conduit? I'm NDC, I'm on my. No, you must ask yourself. I know one thing about commercial broadcasting. A lot of ad agencies, no, what they say, any media buyers, any media planners, no, go down. So be to me back. And I'm going or budget way, mammo. Maybe I have an agency be. So, maybe a telco way this year and carry a babeto. Your best spend about 200,000 or 300,000 on a man FM, but almost say. Yeah, me 2 bias. It's Massa Fausika.
Uncle Yardbit.
Fausika Cock.
Okuna Yardbit.
Honorable Ken. Any CEO. And I'm saying, yes, sure, some of you too desperate. Yes, Kebiano, baby. They are tossing me, you know. Yeah, in charge, you know. I can't be a better so a better running company, no profitably. But some of them are market and no member of staff. And no Baba Gina Katia. And as all better so castle, the engineer and Yajuma betray your own. Odin, a true baby as said to me, Utimi, a carry on. You do not know your identity. Sir, Omamu Hayati at this critical stage,
especially when people know your identity.
Especially when people know your identity. What do you want to place? Because some of this ad agencies office of a big spenders on Beba, and you want to appear, say, oh, now you're neutral. What I say, oh, you're neutral, oh, the uncle. And do what you check that you man also Fabi agency be said they don't want to, they say your station is too political. They say your station is massive for a Jumako. No beer. Auton, a drew auton, auton, all but the ubu, ne, devil, a ye, devil, on him said, on man FM, so listeners are, on what purchasing power. And this auton die, auton plot. Or ya the foo frobi no the baha, a beco. And the me got in run, I was surprised. And some discussions we are not consuming before I'm. And this is your program, not to you. Because I be a matter airtime into the Omacotra Hona Obi Chatro, fine people who didn't add 2 figure and this you. I was a network, no.
No, motive.
We are neutral there, we are neutral way. Then another way, need be one. Yatra, baby. Monfamu Sivim continue. No, go on. Look.
Never be what having.
Look. Mananado Mrasa may not to Medina ha. A beefy a bed. Omo no do Sivia much. Omo na di jan twabeko. Omo na dia him fubedu omo achi on na bakokre. Ye say. E dia na moye.
Sitting on the fence.
E dia na moye sitting on the fence. Wanting to please everybody, want to be just any industrial place that they will see that you are neutral. Gordon, per my principle. Oh, you understand now, Babette. Obakano credit, mama. No, mom say, after I would show baby, what do a man FM so ebe can't platforms are betting their chat on their deceive Ghana for. Nama, Gordon.
Imagine they say Wako carry in Jomahama campaign life. Say Okano Nado leading. Say I in the natural scheme of things in the day. Penimu Jaquara into Nanado wing. Nifia Kawan is such a no Jomahama in Fear Cananim. Offer. Now imagine say carry giving such insensitive, such inhumane, unintelligent analysis wing. Our live radio or man FM so. And offer. Now, my motive yesterday, one bomb pie, my baby offer. A gobuni, a Kombedi ho ya papa.
Who do you want to please?
Who do you want to please?
Maybe this is my question. Why not pass also nani? Why not pass also nani?
Why ya? Oh, now so nani never day. Of a
Yanko no sorry. Yanko.
Yeah, sorry nko. I say so ani yapon.
Yes, Yanko.
Ofati enra na je se wo de
record ya say ni apon.
Ekwa adesi yapon anisa. Na ofa enra mu endis for kwa year manifesto no. Ade ba ku bia ebe mu endis ni entro ne di ofa hadwin. Education sem no baby policy bia almost we will expunge comprehensive sexuality education from the school curriculum. Ofa
say na wa hin school curriculum. Fahina comprehensive sexuality you.
And it is in the manifesto said they will expunge it.
Omonya no omomfa omoncrofo no omdo maba occultism na asho omoma. Omdo abayichira no omomfa anye ye. Nanya afia nkaminhu se wo ye hoho na wakwa hemfie wakọ baabi. Nesi yi musu a wo na waba na ye yi apaye ma no. Wo na akwaje bottle.
Another. So the morning do the other nam. Odim tu ode no ho atoso over until me these things no. Na because of 2000 o man pension that do kumkufo na the policy ba say obi eye nessa of omo ekokraka inflama no ne bagana. O man pension don ejekumkufo ka say nurse for mu hia pa. Na musika se mo so eni soro kese santie se mo incentive kakra. Anunti no ukokra waka ba yin tax be free so. Of a we sad the free so man nurse for be to talk asa or more enjoy. John Mahama name mills ba ye no most of modest ansem no or mutiasia enyi 2013 and Mahama etwemu.
Otete ya mills we
mills kwaya na mills ye ja mills kwaya.
Eja no kwaya na.
Oh. What do we?
Eja mills kwaya.
Eja mills kwaya. Eno so mu na je. Eno twa ade num. And this manifesto no was at the abeshemu say oba no ofa no wasa aka no unashamedly we will restore it. Just the beba. That wa page na tabu ye mo yense ma no. Ade obi adwe ho de aba wo betwam no wo de ba yense mo yense ma wo. Na wo ma me anua aduane wo fie ofa wa ye na ba kwa papa bi. Wako bebe kwa pias ana ate base keso na bibari ya na ba na obehwie nkwa na gu ande busa na sare na nkwa na wahwie agu eveda didi wote hono ma fe oni so tete wo kakra na wo se na mede bancha besi so na metwimeku na fade ya boye se mama wo behwie enkwa papa bi agu no
enkwa na siso oba behwie agu omoti hobosa bosa na afa ya chachire munkoto tomatoes munkoto gini me saba be yen kwa no foforo
you the same kwa no
bi amon nsema
ai ejo fa wo de say honorable around was say na edin manifesto no kutem woni arba ko be fi so asensa na mabebe na sit ma menta che ka minti bebe omode ye be fa but me de me se menyina che okay and ma menka na menyina che mo eye
Boiling point 2 from 107.1 FM HFM Okuma Senior Fleet Station jina Admakumba Fina Eduno so or de Ghana Made Company Limited. Chere Ghana for say yes ye beto Ghana niema ne di Ghana niema yahye Ghana niema ntino wahye Ghana Made shops ahoro no advantage on Tema Community 9 opposite Tema General Hospital no obehu Ghana Made shop back on eho community 1 opposite Obonu FM na opposite Mami Sekune of Franco Trading Kwano so anso Ghana Made shop back on ho community 1 hona no opposite Mami Sekune na for aba Accra a circle pedestrian shopping mall ho circle ankasa no ebi wa fe oko Eastern Region asamanka Ghana Commercial Bank na chipepepe Central Region Winima Trauma Hospital honzo so ubetimi ho Ghana Made shop no bi ewo ho na okomu a ubenya ene pa bebre Ghana Made rice brand no mamba fragrant rice at the bar restaurant near day or dinner home brown rice Ghana made a diabani in a do Joshua ubitimi na wenye bi ato Franco Trading Enterprise a bromman is a phone papa and accessories fee and a Ghana made unya or money penny bibiana field any a Franco Trading Enterprise and your phone and ne na accessories honiama papa nkwa and ubenya ato ewo Franco Trading Enterprise nyanonko says the flash screen TV or more TV a friend of Franco TV nyame anim nie efe pass is no mo di nchisa kase no bi aba koto TV of Franco na obenya laptops nso so ho nya printers obenya tablets ne pabia electronic nema ansa na phones and accessories koma so ekase no wadabraka Robinson ma bus stop no opposite ho na okudura obehu Franco ene pani nyina bi ene wo mo shop ahora ewo oman mu nyina betimi nso alodu Franco app no from Google Play Store and now App Store na dia to phone so abrebia obeya order online obetimi anya up to 30% discount now dia titonium so admark befi atranse ya yanko
anyumre ma minchia tifo na yanko so nse nyame asomdue so emfa ma oman no mampeni na nada danko akufuado nyame nhyira ne yi papa sabre watia ne nachi ene nam ebunuma mu na yeni so da fom na nkra kwabna yenya no ehye nkran pa ehye nkran na edije sam so ne se eye abibiri mu atoye fam nyina so mkuchi aye no yenim si unum to a ene edu gina twebo ano sisi wana be ye peni oda no ne odidie yese nimdia okura eni nyansa nyame dia dom no eni otwen ne aho pachira onyaye no ode be ye adwuma ama bibifo nyina so no titire na bibiri mato ye ani age na kwabra dia manfo aso mu dem sense se West Africa Nigeria fo mu na musini wa ha na mbo ana Liberia fo na musini wa ha Gambia omu nyina na musifo ha sei eni wo sie beto aba aka boso miensa ena tumi nso edi amano no enya bosume miensa so anagwa de nyesa ne tie eni ntie edi amano no kwa se kokosaji kasa kire bo ni kirifo a kwa brando yeden otrabebuom eni nti papa no djuma waye no no amo aso intel ma pikie no e clearly show se na akufo ado se tie bia nyame asasiesie ne tenkuru bie no ebeba money MPP eni nti no amo yese wo awodin ena o se edi ahobo that is what kwa brando ni se eya COVID-19 no so no bible mo ese nyina no yen na yetimi abom modeni a obi amen se se percentage ni se 93.7 93.7 Nigeria South Africa from tosutu no wo mo ne nam 83 ho no baby na ese COVID-19 no kwabra o mampani abon homodi yi pa eno so no e ahoho a edima MPP ku ni titiru ene Ghana fo nyina na asa na mekomani mo kwabra memfa we so nsere ade we sei ene yemrantie eni abefo agudie eni mfidie kwan so yesi friend social media ene kumirika minim ebe kakra kwa ma yedi beto no yedi beto asokore mesere kwasi broni nyansa ebeto asante enyansa nyame ache ahenie nyame ache nimdie nyame ache agudie nyame ache djumaye mesere mo mi nyansa ade no asante tiase untimi kofa America metoto yen kwabna airtime eya ni die nguro ho na kwasi broni ani nyansa watmesu nyansa amende no sebe asebe
boiling point
asebe
kamasem
yabutre
jaw let them be
yabutre yakeka ka obi
I can't be say yabutre how does it change me from coming from
so obodro ni asset as this
let them be
onim the American tin soma no the American masamaka me nyai
wetin asie nyai no
the mesre kwabra mesre yabutre kwabra the mesre ni say akwasi broni ani bie ebeto yen it be srep wo munya asade no asante di ne ho so de mpesa meka no eno de mekosomaka eya de sre de munyai ye di ho so we are proud of ourselves obi o ye inferior no de no tutu obi de so ye tiase kwabra ma wie ni sa no so no nyame pa wo kina eye ochememu emrantie ne mabawa ne mpanimfo dodo no ano ensem anansen yewra mama sebi ne si atoso a ene niam a wo keka ehu ni mfaso di tia ocheman no o ka chima waka santi emso wa chenya me pa mu nyine kuhia ewo asaman kese amomotu ho anamo yemu bi nya kwan be kwani akoboa
o ye nani abon ho safoyene na senten no kogina ho na chebi eye galamse ho ahwan ofuro no beto ma asantem aman enti yakika ma furu kwabra kika ma dampan wo kina ye ni ba bi obekwa sa akoka bie ena nura so hwe se do musiko ye no makofa professor Kwaku danso bo afo be gina ana chi amin eno ani hwe nifa pani ye ndemo kana semini ade da mu nyina no ono susu twere book ono so de tie Rollins book no kram bi ba ase enti mesre wo bia no a obenya kwan no odu ani kire wa mukwa demonstration no ye se na kwa beba ye de tia haba enura ya dia na yesu asere ede mame enwumre bo no nsia se de NDC fo no kan ye no kwabra pepe na mkotra fidie ho ena me se ja menhwe because empanifo sen ko ba chadwa aya no enunyi ananya sa nete eni nti aban obi awo no watena opposition fie 9 die nanka wanya kwan atoto ni emayie ama manifesto ade beba no nanka twaso ni oman na wo sai no no de ono no ba ya wo ba be ye no kwabra woni breast wo sai dia kwa ni manifesto ba nwanwa sam ne ni gisam ne sai ono mom tinatimi nya bre ade ya ni manifesto enti mra wo mo yeso mo age bre no ma home no ade yesi ye ntwen ne bia no wo dia de papa e baba kwabra ne ete aboa no beba obu baba ni nyina na kwabra ehu wom aboa no ko ba ya sa aboa na ni ehu bia ni wonum biem ye kodi kwabra ba ya enura manifesto me de beto won no na as esre ye be de kan ahwe mpo organization media kaminim ewa mamre mu ane kasam ni se pani dware bia na kensu asa enti kamama na kebetwa to ye nim de ko ba ye eje ba wa shekot na kwabra na kufu ade shekot o different tennis a enwumre akwabra shekot papa kotu different ne hene so nko asoso na serie bia ni mu ni ade ade sa nya hwe ebinom so mo keka jawra na so de mo dem fe no ngam ye hwe de obeye kwabra wo chance de di kan first and ye akutia ni ateni do wiye afi wo se afi na me be chance na kwabra dem na esre kese o kan ni say wo se we no I'm not going to follow any specific order na ese kwabra na sam no kan say ye ka frafra no e ho na duro no enti ampa so one follow specific order eni wo burugu mu de ko ba oburugu no de akoba eko wiase a ni ato yensa e de afre ye maame professor nso be gina ho keka ne de duru ba bie no so so de ayi empoatwa bi na patrem so ko mu a ne aso aduro enti bibia na obeka bi kwabra fe de ye maame wie ya na papa ya sa sori biem mama sa sori aba ka bi wom ni nyina ne se ye maame koka eye edien zongo development inner city and zongo development fere mama sorry o se ye de nya sa netie ye de no eye the prime areas any zongo kwabra sabi de ba kokoba enya de kuri ye na ne so obetwa no ka na de me de se otimi kasa ya ama ne vote kura so ten there were no NDC people for akwabra o mo fre wa no nkrombuofu e na ahwe wa mo so anu mo screen no so akwabra gudu no anu mo ada na de am ngwangwa ne say your professor of English or your vice dey said that abawumia o the economic figures be kwa obeka se wo hu se city na afraid ya kwabra brofo ya twa the screen so ni ade no kwabra na ngwangwa o de amfia no nto nchen na ye interrogate wo mun se mebi ni edi kan ya odi kan be kasa ye no na ye Samuel Ofosu Ampofo na kwabra aso obeka ya ye nyina ye ngwangwa kase ni say o si de bo akase
ya wonim in as much as our person yet elaborative no just on this platform I'll beg you don't give too much credit to running order and stuff like that. Don't be criticized, on this program. I don't want a picture to be painted about NDC and their event and this animal. I beg you. And these MPP, some manifesto.
Yeah, manifesto. Na kwabra meto de okanase. Ba sabi dachi binti. Record bi na o siesetie. But you can't set the record over a straight. The American say, Enra for so for Bejna or say, Wamuna doom so on money free or Quamati. Doom so no cast on the belly free one mono. Share Obianco Kai, a year GhanaWeb.com, 2nd March 2017. Quabra what the American say. On one Cossaco General Station, this so, I can pay say, doom so the mama a trans with you, Kadum so be free on them. Emma Yura Kwakubako, interrogating say, why do you say that? Because Abusumi and Sapo Mwabano. Woman yan trasi na ya dan wako kase dum so no woman in free onum it is no say ko jino ko catch and say dum so woman in free onum a kwabra am I wrong say be kasa asem no afi de make so atiase ɛyɛ nto boase na de beti ase enti nipa wɔno kɔ gyina hɔ na sa kansam no ɛnura wɔno ankasa okɔ a ɛyɛ GhanaWeb.com 2nd March 2017 kwabra wɔno na gitum sɛ bim so na to ntwae there were several instances between the aka and clearly the near can say a funding said a bear sika why ye dear bediano sika won't mean far and funny a yoriseno why no and none of me the soon ye buy ya no want to be fan kotofu yes I'm to fan kotofu funding and no and another problem a could baby John Jinapo a young one or yet deputy power minister and no a myjoyonline.com 26 November 2016 Ojitum Wafuni say na omo captain was say frankly money is a challenge nyampani fo akakeka enti say no tim ko gino no say twatro kase say ka tren say dum so mu yifiri odi a ye jama Ghana fo kwabra odi ya no atu ntan a hwe kwatri kwaso ma ntoma tienidin ene enura de bosha hodo am sey no anya me nwanwa but ni nyira no eye niam miensa eno am kabo mu ni edikan pa no ye nkontompo ebi na medikan ayi hu na yakɔ no mama de ne behunu bi de atoso mienu no so na tiefo ntie ni say eye photocopy am ye MPP manifesto repeated ayi ena no so de ena de atoso miensa between 2008 and 16 all the repeated but failed promises ena kabo mu beka no honom enye mo beka ye nyina no components no eye 3 nkontompo mu twa ye nya no kre de ato nkontompo mu twa the atosumienu eye niema on be wi afi MPP for and the atosumiensa eye nsima no maka since 2016 eye adwuma ma me nchiro etiefo ntie ni yipa onum sa nura oka bibi ma ye hu se eye oba akosomo tester ana akwabanya sa no ka no wo se akosomo
ombe Kenya textile industry textile industry yada say bibia no ma yen no no ba akosombo we dey god in the TA onu ani newspaper ABC news eya branch odano no o interrogate interview no e wo August here 15th August meboa na sam a o kan ye ni say sanya free assets na ba ye no ene ntade no a enka ni nyina agu meanwhile kwabena asam no o kan ye no etiefo ntie ni ye eye 2008 page 47 of NDC's manifesto was say rejuvenation of the textile industry in an integrated manner from seed production to spinning to gaining and printing 2008 or repeated the same statement 2012 page 41 rejuvenation of the textile industry in an integrated manner from seed production to spinning to gaining and printing 2012 page 41 the same statement 2016 or say redevelopment of the textile industry NDC manifesto 2016 page 36 kwati kwaso man to man right then who atie ni din kwabna saudi no eto wono mu a wo mu ka bibia na fantastic wo mu say inter schools eno so wo mbesan ediaba e wo saying primary level kwabna na yentie ensem a wo say inter schools ne den
inter schools ne saja inter koya akuko ni primary school for dia wo myeyi na kwabna who dey tiasem no inter schools na all kan wasem no yan hwe eniema omidi kan ehye ehobo na tiefo entie ni ye o say ohwe 2012 page 28 reinvigoration of the traditional inter-school and colleges sports competition program NDC manifesto 2012 page 28 and was repeated the same revert the traditional inter-schools and colleges sports programs to help unearth talent NDC manifesto 2016 page 26 kwate kwaso amount ma kwa na shenidin odi ya no atu nche biewu a wasan ba bi say lesser known sports no so sports they say ampenom ene ludunum nyina no odi ba be kam no efe god nti ha sei no so de okan no asmo okan eni o say development of lesser known sporting discipline in the country NDC manifesto 2012 page 28 kwa bena no so mo kan kwati kwaso mantuma no atie ni din afei wo masa kan say assemblyman fo on betu omuka etiefo ntie ni assemblyman fo no betu omuka no kwabna uje NDC manifesto 2008 page 31 was say the measures will include payment of remuneration to assembly members to commensurate with their functions and duties kwabna owie ni sana so 2012 and also page 63 was saying, in other words, central government will assume responsibility for the payment of the remuneration of assembly members, and the possibility of achieving this objective through the district assembly common fund as a tied grant would be examined. Kwabra okan 2008 2012 otimi ye na dia me yakese akura ba ko ni say eye akuafo de a ye ma me no madi wo mu ani na nne ye ba ye yetuanya nimdifo akese ati se ye wura eye Dr. Fiye no ama ye nua eye Kennedy nya osenya konom eni ye wura jojoduro mu eye adwuma papa senya entro sa kotwa no bio no, and I repeat it here. NDC manifesto a year no so 2012 page 37 omo kan so omo ba akuafo pension scheme omo de bema omo kan year to the extent say chainsaw operators kwabra no so omo modern say omo so no omo bema omo ska say ne kosi ye odi ye no esan eto nche biewu a ye ka we nyina mamanfo nu say kwatre kwaso ma ntoma tiedidin na one particular quote akwabra okan ya ebi ana etiefo ewurafi awosami sami quote ma manfo hu senia esitie mama no ankasa. I remember said 2016 yani abri a ye bontoa na ye ka ensem no ensem bi a okan ye no ene ono ankasa no achechire no na wonim nia okamiem was say beware of those who make promises outside government. Mama tells Ghanaians, modernghana.com, 14th November 2016. President John Dramani Mahama has cautioned Ghanaians to be wary of persons who make lofty promises to them, especially when they are outside government. He said these promises to the electorate are coming from people who are out of touch with reality. Kwabrawate wasi obi a onu wani abamu no said ani eye ni abamu no sabere no ye ye kan nya ye nim ani to akwatra mfie na ye a onu so ni abamu no say na obeka kire o say obi a wono no eye teacher training allowance, nurses training allowance okasi etwam kra no belu so opene so na mpa otwa mu ntino lusu ye no obeka kire say fedi obade a all the universities in Ghana, including the polytechnics, any nursing training, afraid of marketing could be tough. Who the cafe let him wait. Another can come and tell you, it one woman, that's some no kind, he's out of touch. Now, some no kind, send your kind and say, you can't frat, into a car we frat, no a car we are frat, or car we frat, no a car we are frat, and you can't frat. Young local contractors and also as someone or can edify local contractors not here for NTN yepa. Local contractors also asma okay no ebi ewa hasi or say local contractors you improve the capacity of local contractors and consultants. NDC manifesto 2012 page 53. Even 2008, Osaka local contractors was him. And it is not some of Benjamin Mokika in Yan Kwam, Mokika. To the extent said, Zongo development in Kwabna direct. But Yana Yera Kufuado, Mobro Abdomo, Ghana for one said and Mentino. Yakwa, which Remakabro, Nagin say, Your boy and so, no boy and Kania, Mama Koja Babisa, Bejan the Wunya. And that you are no Bejina Honumwa, and someone Wakano, Kwabna Okika. That was a sebi. Papa no, indeed, that's some no can you say. When you are out of touch, and so no experience, and what did generalize here. So they are not to change Okada as some so. Now Okada Sama Kwabra Okaye, ya, and 1 year part say, Yatia Mary Muino. Okada for Yanu Omnity. So Koba bit is a Tamalino near the other Kwabra. Okada for more no, it be a law abiding. Yes, so light, not so. Yes, so green, no more echo, and I come just on it here. And it will be Anka Womu, and a war airline no won't quite buy yet 2012. And that John Dramani Mama, and now this Abra. What is Samrano? What the buy? What the buy a year, you know. Samra, the then Minister of Transport, Gifativo, Quabra, Daily Graphic, a captai. Now I quote, the Minister of Transport. Message Gifativo has urged the police to enforce the law banning the use of motorbikes for commercial purpose. She said the police must arrest both the motor riders and their opinions as part of measures to check the increasing rate at which motorbikes were being used for commercial purposes, otherwise known as Okada, resulting in the death of the injury to people. Mrs. Ativo was speaking at the end of year get-together, also known as WASA, of the Motor Traffic and Transport Unit of the Ghana Police Service on Friday. And it is a now say now bedin truck is say meba meligalanzi Okada and no been na god in air can say also buy ya how education and you be adim and you can wasem it is out of desperation but we be na need that from so you mama kasa any niama work kan nyina no a kwabena obafuo bia ko wiram na se di tuo ka aboa no a aboa ne timi kore nim say yo okopem ha no akopem ha any tetu aka no ne smoke kan nyina no kwabena Okada sma ye kan no maybe the taxi drivers any other transport owners no and na sabi eba mama bu o mu nyina kire say emu nyina na kwabena mu gubuo and na ni wura no bae so lepe ba kwa kuku no ba ye nso so a ya chechede ono na eni nyi wo mu and wa say na emu nyina mo nkama adwunu mu na me call da bo ani tiri ho eni ewi fisa god nyi kwabena sembe no aka we nya fe na me be tiri ana de make me bo ana oh na me no tiri nyi ha ne do so what yes enti kwamra ebe no wabu homo yan na no dan ko akufu ado obi aye ne manade am ya kase ne say o se wo de adwuma pa na o se 1 million jobs na wo create 1 million jobs ukoduru apawes nkwana o se onko 250,000 enti 15 regions no yan ye better 750 meanwhile 2016 ukasa the 3 million jobs neba enti sa 2015 enfie 9 no say yanwo ekura no a wo de nkafa 3 million no bra na 2016 na uka ho asem bepem de no ekura ne bebra beka ho bi susu anyi enti sa na na de 1 million what the can koche 250,000 kwache kwaso ma tuma kwabra tienidi na de anwanwa ne se watu di ni se adwuma pa enti obi anu epatuma pa sabi obi ye Okada onya adwuma bi a okobeye ebi a ho chem no de ye mini Okada fo bi wo Polibo University omde hwe wo mo basusuna pa se sa wo beka sa adwuma pa na obi ye Okada no di 60 years a obeye den anu atuma ye sa adwuma no ada na nyi wadwen ni say o bua sa nkrofo mum yen de wa ye ba president kofo o be ndisi fa be ka say enya dwuma ye sustainable mo change ni ko jida afede ni pambie no mu free baako ye mu free kro baako leokaba eni abuga pele o mu nyina free China paga me bo akwabra na we be di we yade we nu momo ya mpepere no wa na mo we nu momo ono ni ya ndisi no ba ye no kro no atinkanti no ena wadam o de ma me fancy ese na me nua panimra mo wi a ya be kan so gbochiri
boiling point man 107.1 FM HFM Kumasi near play stations in Kano to Asonabo Canada or Japan every crack few of the messages na yam kwaya ni masina na is Jude na is Jordan so I say the incompetent former president and today incompetent flag bearer said Ghanaians should vote for him to come and correct his mistake offer also to for advice him. When is he coming to tell Ghanaians his mistakes as president? Ghanaians don't have short memories. Nana Hazy Ojiri and what the way Abraham Osikani was the incompetent, visionless candidate. John Mahama is still promising Ghanaians what he can provide. We saw the mess he created when he was in power. Yesterday manifesto was empty. Ghanaians, if you don't know death, watch sleep and say no to the incompetent John Mahama. The Yenti Obia man, you onena ediano. Kumerica na Admakubefi kind of. As I tell Admakubefi that as for this one, the Adabraka, he is good big time. The Kumerica is not referring to Asanteman like he rightly said. Asanteman is on its own and is big. Please, it is referring to those living in Kumasi. Dansuman is at times referred to as DC, but no one has said anything against it. Oh, okay. Then the social media name on the NBA also with the a fortunate boy was young Kuyanim na yamfa and sending you Honorable Kana Trans, Yamka more change Emaya Enti Mesha Nanka, Honorable Ken. aba ɛhɔ no Gordon ma yi omo emra Barnabas mra na oma meyi voice no ema ye esedu nketia voice no na o pese mo no ma okay emo esedu
Several weeks ago, we were here at the UPSA hall to also present to you the product once again of a thinking outside the box, because since independence, in search for inclusiveness, political parties have been looking at whether the best way of getting inclusivity is to bring somebody from Nafrongo and another person from Aflao to be president and running mate. Some were saying let us choose one Muslim and one Christian. Others were saying let's choose a Pentecostal and a Methodist. President John Dramani Mahama felt that the only way to solve this problem is again to think outside the box. So he decided that all these balances are inferior. The only God-given balance that will solve this problem is the gender balance. And so he chose Professor Nana.
Honorable Johnson said don't katia asem no akawi or say there not all other political parties the indigenous choose running at the pair running mate no they were all inferior.
So when you choose from Aflao to a Navrongo to Aflao,
okay,
he calls that inferior.
Yes, I'm
choosing a Muslim or a Christian.
Yes, I'm on you.
Several weeks ago, we were here at the UPSA hall to also present to you the product once again of a thinking outside the box, because since independence, in search for inclusiveness, political parties have been looking at whether the best way of getting inclusivity is to bring somebody from Nafrongo and another person from Aflao to be president and running mate. Some were saying let us choose one Muslim and one Christian. Others were saying let's choose a Pentecostal and a Methodist. President John Dramani Mahama felt that the only way to solve this problem is again to think outside the box. So he decided that all these balances are inferior. The only God-given balance that will solve this problem is the gender balance. And so he chose Professor Nana.
All these balances are inferior.
It's again to think outside the box. So he decided that all these balances are inferior. He decided that all these balances are inferior. The only God-given balance that will solve this problem is the gender balance. And so he chose Professor Nana.
Oman FM.
Kabra. Anabokan.
So the Muhammad Yamam Kai. So Kofa Aibenini Isrimni Ekojina say Omun contested as presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate inferior. So for Christian, any Muslim say Omun ko ballot so Enkojina as presidential and vice presidential candidate inferior. The only thing a God's gift any inferior ni say gender balance obefa oba a professor. Wow. When you are no voter region mo say NDC World Bank voter region. This is the impression we have about votarians. What do you say? This is impression we have about Muslims. So confirm Muslim, be pay Christian inferior. Compare Islam need to compare inferior. And until Mahama Amfa votarian as vice president.
I said
one Christian Muslim as vice presidential candidate because to them is inferior.
Our Muslims no any ewes no mo asempa we sabo biem na muntie ho no anka se me politics na nye sa na okan ono anasema waka so say any balance bi a obetra se obenya biara inferior any balance he was specific yeah so we from Navrungu na di aflawo eco balance no inferior so kofa Christian the balance Muslim inferior so kofa Pentecost need to balance Methodist inferior except gender balance over for oba our professor.
That's we're saying let's choose a Pentecostal and the Methodist. President John Dramani Mahama felt that the only way to solve this problem is again to think outside the box. So he decided that all these balances are inferior. The only God-given balance that will solve this problem is the gender balance. Several weeks ago, we were here at the UPSA hall to also present to you the product once again of a thinking outside the box, because since independence, in search for inclusiveness, political parties have been looking at whether the best way of getting inclusivity is to bring somebody from Navrungo and another person from Aflao to be president and running mate. Some were saying let us choose one Muslim and one Christian. Others were saying let's choose a Pentecostal and a Methodist. President John Dramani Mahama felt that the only way to solve this problem is again to think outside the box. So he decided that all these balances are inferior. The only God-given balance that will solve this problem is the gender balance. And so he chose Professor Nana.
Inferior. What the Islamic pair a inferior. What the Christian a pair Muslim inferior. That's a very serious statement. I think he has to apologize to the Muslims. I say, "Omun fa Muslim da." Sa agina wo mutumi. Yeah, omun fa Muslim da as a vice presidential candidate. Sa agina wo mutumi. Amelia, nyamna mkayo, esi ebi nketia na kai. Ever since our Rollins in film, they've sidelined Airways completely. When we are say a World Bank. Media, I just wanted to draw people's attention to that statement of Komiki. But let us go to NBC manifesto. They were naturally born thieves and naturally born bad. Yes. Because everything in MPP manifesto, they've copied it dito. Yeah, dito. They've copied it dito. Now, Mami started with the economy. Baba, who tell me? President Mahama said, Oba, single-digit inflation. Or the Baba. Person bisa be many million for say all corona inflation ejina say on contrary President Mahama say oba create 250,000 jobs a year. 250,000 jobs a year. Not so 1 million. No, was it 250,000 a year?
I see.
4 years, 1 million.
Hey.
As I speak today, MPP has created as of June, and yes, I see a woman
okay.
As of June, we are creating jobs 2,055,000. 2,055,000. And he said, "Abai me, the ayin ya catch us a far, ubefa." Obi say, "On 3 years, no, we are creating jobs." 2,055,000. Obi so about 4 years. Obi create jobs 1 million. Ghana for mo koto aba 1 ampe. Enyam na mkan. President Mahama na kan. Say every year Obi create 250,000 jobs.
Okaso be created 250,000 jobs. A term is 4 years. So you multiply it by 4, it is 1 million.
Okay.
And I'm saying that as of June, now I created 2,055,000 jobs. 2,055,000 jobs. President Mahama, Sanwa already, or catch say, NBC4 will promote indigenous Ghanaian businesses. Hey, indigenous Ghanaian businesses. Omaka since 2012, 2016, he collapsed indigenous Ghanaian businesses through Dumso. He collapsed Ghanaian businesses. The man was talking as if say on your president in the testing. What do you say? Okay, your president that in the testing. Now you who say ampa or baby or the baby for front ever. Or say TV or whatever. We have already started. And we have Nkola technical vocational, 51%, 51.2 or 51.1%, 52.1 percent male, and 47.8 OWUSU school. We have over 1,099,000 students, including this technically. A friend also bar who baby technical what. Now all back runs went to me money. Well, now Miami draw Ghana for attention and he said, I will be painting and answer what. In the background, where they or in your tunche.
On One FM.
President Mills, ever catch it say, Omani Moyading into about electricity, or better so boom, and see over to boom. You 2 months, President Mills, 3 months prepare petrol. Many are known. If you are saying petrol, Timita, no magiso, Debbie. Electricity, Timita, Debbie. And soon, Timita, Debbie. I'm a member, metro, boom, boom, boom. President Mills, you 2 months, 3 months. Or more petrol, so boom. Or more electricity, so boom. Or more so boom. Kwabramu we afion.
Okay.
We are not so answer why. President Kufuor Warazu, but I'm member National Health Insurance now. Afibie Ketuano. I'm member Etia Krope Kesi Debewu and Ketua Biem. Yeah, one-time premium. 1-time premium. Montu mami. Na me ba National Health Insurance a President Kufuor dia ba afibia ro de obetua renew no me dia me ba utua ba ko utua bi menam Kumasi e ba fosu and am tea say Roman Catholic Hospital Oma ko strike say National Health Insurance payment and maintenance ya ma
on One FM.
Ayarefo I had to sign a check 30,000. The personal check at my hospital. MC, who said, he went there and threatened Roman Catholic Hospital for suicide. They should not accept my check. Kabrameno Kasami. Check, no. Our current MC, back 50 back and change. Yan talking that. There be a 70. And you both won the hospital. And the baby be more number page around the other side. That is what they did. President Mills, a promises about 1-time premium. That is exactly what they are doing today. When we share the success we have chalked. No, I was a trunk one on baby. Now, also at me at the Akomani.
also Obama free primary health care. Now we Jadan will be about any Obama free primary health care. A day muto will be by woman 12 years. Mutu Obama NDC be Ghana, you be create 20 years. So Mutu Obama NDC be eba power. You be create 20 years. Mami read page 24. The last paragraph, B. But let me read the whole last paragraph. I see the two primary thematic areas of the next NDC government will be centered on the following. A. Realign public expenditure to high growth inducing areas while emphasizing social protection policies such as free primary health care. B. Institutionalize structural reforms in accordance with the Public Financial Management Act, PFMA, to enhance effective budget implementation, eliminate budget overruns and off-budget expenditures, and ensure, baby, I'm Denny, and ensure value for money. Almost free power and almost who said they will ensure value for money. Kofi Adams Accra Dubai cost us $260 million.
Okay, circle over.
Yeah, Kwame Nkrumah interchange. Costing us 260 million. Abra Pokuasi interchange, who cost second level account. 59 million. And not who catch us a value for money. Pokuasi interchange, Tamamoto Way, Obechebi Lamte, and Tamale interchange cost $289 million. One interchange under NDC cost $260 million. And the President Mahama now says eliminate budget overruns and off-budget expenditures and ensure value for money. Here, Kasua over Pasia, me keep time, say me bo asre one me tua ebesi tire $270 million.
And no credit she knew.
Yeah, I catch you say in the you know I say ancillary roads, any hospitals a clinic on by when we say Kasua for say hospital be one and ancillary roads be no more $270 million.
What you
say? And not President Mahama catch us ensure value for money. Now we are there now to Dubai to talk Mercedes Benz will back 19-year-old boy 1 year. And we ensure value for money. Who ensure value for money? We do buy a dino name Mano. We do for play co weekend ebano. A teacher me say and the NDC not ministers. A2 and not plane echo London Friday, no matter Monday, echo school, no matter. Ministers were going to school, being paid by government. You want to ensure value for money? President Mahama. Do you really understand that English? And I know come kakrazim free no papa. So no come tiare o can be no value for money. Airport $275 million. One terminal. Ensure tar. Monko neko he. Ade ensure beto. Ko. Eche awura. Eche awura. $275 million. And now what because our way. Value for money. God save Ghana. Now if you say ya wuhuru ya nim kwasurinti. Or sa baby. Or can somewhere there. Niamani who ya emu power we say and say. Our only vision. So we say Oba legalize Okada. Okada for no bebre omako school. Na adwuma na eni honti. Na ampeso obaye am roba. Enti na oye Okada. Enya na hojo so. Enti so ya president now so oba. No one be create jobs also Okada. Lord of mercy. Baby a ewiase ekoi. Kwabana. baby we are see ekoi hwe technology baby e de adu no be ka che so ube ma okada fo ayere hwe okada ya wuken regulation of the ba anything da costa me am nyonko da costa we can do motorball yeah
na penny
yeah na penny traffic enie cars ni na stop na okada on brand omonato. This is what you want to legalize. Somebody opposite to abama. Wow. Kana for unfankwa dwindwin. He has nothing to offer us. Na wabubo asi intabi mchim. Page 25. The next NDC government will set up a $10 billion fund to build robust infrastructure like roads, railways, port expansion, inland ports, hospitals, social housing, and multi-purpose market in every part of the country. Page 25. say the component of the big push is a transportation plan made up of 3 major projects. Kwabra, the Eastern Corridor.
Hey! And this thing about Eastern Corridor.
The Golden Triangle. This is what I mean. The Eastern Corridor, the Golden Triangle, and the Western Corridor project. I see the Eastern Corridor project. Complete the Eastern Corridor road, which means it has been started by somebody. What you say? I see to complete the Eastern Corridor road.
The Eastern Corridor road, baby, I Burkina Faso, I mean, say, I'm a contract, maybe almost higher for
all I'm making. It was your boy, I think, over complete.
Yeah.
Port infrastructure at Keta. Yeah, Keta. Port infrastructure. Adia. Yani ya fa hu CEO. Wa be be say be kire wo kro no no. Ya fa hu CEO. Yeah. Ejuma sese.
Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, they are already there.
Yes.
Omo employ Obi Kro.
Yes.
Omo employ DJ.
Yeah. And I'm
for Keta Port.
Yeah, for Keta Port.
I'm this for quite criticize say I don't know me cover bi no mzo. Ono no hwa ya adwuma ni nyina.
Wrong. Dino. Everything na make us omo naturally born thieves. Because the bia mbom kro no even manifesto kura ko wi obi die. Manifesto kura obi wi. Na me de baby a na me de. Page 26. The MPP government has increased Ghana's public debt from 120.30 billion in 2016 to about 258.4 billion as at end June 2020. Under the MPP, the public debt is projected to increase to 290 billion by end of December. Media budget review, with an addition of about 170 billion to the public debt stock in the last 4 years, with very little to show for. Why the public debt akosoro? Na memo boni a wo jama kudu abinti. And hide Ghana for we uncovered look, interest on our loan debt. $18 million, 18 billion a year. 3 years we have paid 54 billion. 54 billion. BDCs, energy, BDCs,
Ball distribution companies.
Yes.
Omo na kradema OMCs.
BDCs no 1 billion and 30,000. You buy a tree. Who convert here a 6 billion. What by 54 when you say 60? Esla loan 6 billion. What by come when say 66? Good. A year bust. A car with your two $624 million. You buy a chiamu naka 57 million. Enti who converting ya chiana a 3.288 billion. What you say? Now the most serious part, take or pay.
Yeah.
The person Ghana phone here.
Power purchasing agreement.
Yeah, power purchasing agreement. Bogus 14. Take or pay agreement.
You know, almost 43. Madam say 14.
Yeah.
Or refer to. Here.
Good. Take or pay. Every year, I buy it to $2 billion. In 3 years, you have $6 billion.
O converted back
5.8 now. About 34.8 billion. Kabra. And he said, we are no about gas. So what you feel that? Gas. You have 3.6 billion. 3.6 billion. And you cut by 24 billion. Then you come to banks now agro. Banks now agro so I 21.62 billion. And the Okikabomwa, I have 146 billion. 146 billion.
Yeah.
A car, apart from NDC for 120 billion or Omoka 17. 120 billion, no. 120.3. My memo the exact year so. You buy a campua ya bon. You chia NDC, a memo bonium jato, a car ya bon. You chia about 146 billion.
And the next is no cry, and no the constitute a car must say,
yes,
MPP Ababaka Hunya.
Yes,
which is a young. MPP become more family.
Yes, 170 billion. Who got 146 in 3 more? About 24 billion. What do you say? That is in President Mahama. A person obtain a say a car will go to one. Any habitual am I dead portfolio akosoro.
Na no cry no say what they bata one. Say Mumuja 128 billion and MPP they call 150 something billion. Within 1 term, no. I have 4 years. Mvan say a double. But Mono mobile inherited free 9.5 billion. And I'm there almost more double no, and I'm the home prince every time.
About 30 million.
Amman FM.
Or say, engage landlords, real estate investors, and tenants to review the Rent Act to provide tax incentives to landlords and real estate investors to reduce the cost of rent advance for residential and commercial purposes. Wabra, bibi atwa soon happen. NPP manifesto.
Oh yes, MPP manifesto more than she share by say.
MPP manifesto say Oba okay say low income no. A lot of people are not able to afford. So they will go real low income houses. akɔgyegye asase ato hɔ a yɛde bɛyɛ low income for because who sɛ adɛnta nom ne adeɛ die ɛbaa low income no ɛnyɛ saa na teɛ so the real definition of low income is what we are going to do for the ordinary people also to get a place to stay. Okay, sir, even students, a friend or woman a juma for they will give them 2 years advance. So yeah, juma, who start here juma? About 2 years advance. Landlord, you know, direct into his account. So what you see? Omo ayisika to home to build all these houses. And only 100 million. Also students are omo school. Pay so asking. Now President Mahama, he said really maybe some question. Engage landlords, real estate investors, and tenants to review the Rent Act to provide tax incentives to landlords and real estate investors to reduce the cost of rent advance for residential and commercial purposes. As Sagleme. Exactly opposite. Assassin opposite. You have 200 acres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, I say obviously 5,000.
Yes. And the parliament approved scanning in
5,000.
$200 million.
In Chikwabana,
Omoko change, you know, about 1,500.
And I look 1,000.
And almost. And a cromon, Otrem, ye.
Sa buying way. And now the country will say, Fatuman Biam Namiba,
Mayor House and
Mayor House. Papa in Feriabi, Surabi. Until you say, what copy? Now, memo exact pages. I had the end now.
How more to two?
Ah, more to two. At the Abishimwa. And the NDC has nothing for this country.
They are born bad.
Naturally born bad. That's NDC for you. And naturally born thieves. Kokrono de almost salom de bo papa. Onti kwabra, who share development MPP eye ni nia ye be ye. Say, Mahama Breso. Ono Bumso Emma FM. Yabaye. Kwabra unim. New factories are ya complete ya eye juma. Eye 28. All factories are Yamo Sikaso Masin are renovating F48. So 76 factories are working. In total, we have 232 factories. Are starting. Are anyway. What you say? President Mahama buy. Why make good factories we're gonna have? You see, Kenya is an only president in Boy government benefit to the doubt. One would graduate unemployed, graduate unemployed association by.
He's not a magician.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenon.
What you say? And now President Mahama say, Obey creative jobs. Now then at 2013, 14, 15, 16 there, one creative jobs. Huh? Make a job NDC for my Bolancasa. When in Boamon, diabolic mind in it. That they are exposed to who say they are ignorant. Yeah. Let me read page 23. Or say, B. I will exempt commercial vehicles and other equipment imported into the country for commercial, industrial, and agricultural purposes from import duty. C. Review the Customs Amendment Act 2020 at 1014 to scrap the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles. This will save the local automotive industry, especially Swami Magazine, Kokompe, and Abosu Okan from collapse.
So Magazine Kokompe ni Abosu Okan. On a catch on the Omodom person money. Now just a car dada, Aria Bonkwa, and then Abosu Okan, nipa bebria mo on kofa. Car honey marketing kitia and now obi talk as or spec or could change in the light or the say screen reverse screen nimua or the be koshem just near marketing kitia and crofo at the decorative cars
yeah can crowd person this called political plans a draft the percent omutia says a draft it has not been finalized.
Okay.
It is not true. A draft. Omo pa omo check it. Say a draft. Na oye no. Ono say Obama companies, new companies, Abba Ghana, automobile industries. Are they here or they are now coming? And let me know, say Ghana, what they can tanker vehicles, we can one. They produce 8 different kinds, 6 different kinds of cars plus sino truck. And you produce your Ghana, you manufacture Ghana. So they can tanker, they can weigh 8. Your VW, Toyota, Nissan, Renault, Daewoo, and Sino truck. They are all in this country. Assembling plants. Fa mechanics are what Ghana honey engineers. They build the car. German from you and account. Even the CEO
of yes of
I don't know how come branch akwa Japan but na me attack wo mo yirinti I say nke Japan wa o msi safu mafu eba eye yi a o mu ntiase VW chief executive Okroma
Ghana ni
I didn't free Germany
yes
even abroad they have confidence in some Africans that is why they gave him that position so why don't you identify your own people are omuye papa enyejuma so entiama enye nana mahama ebe ka kire say ono obama brand new cars abekurum ha oni adwene bia obetimi ade adwene akọ negotiate amaka aba okọ negotiate a no de ni nuar ma di nachi matisi omuye cartoons bina I'm saying I chim the other. Now we need Ibrahim ni energy no ni. Ono so ni nuanu ya baku ya 19. Alfred Peter one.
Obi anya ba bi che.
Yes.
Obi anya ba bi che.
Eba ka say achim what? 19. Ebimu ye din ti no. Nobody is attacking them. Now they cry ye adwuma che Ibrahim.
They were all over. Three agencies under Ministry of Road and Transport, feeder roads, urban roads, highways. Someone in our hobby brain.
Oh, yeah, I was saying, obey that today. Just a bit, I can be a serious and me really a dear Papa, in Europe, he said, just 3 years ago, say 4 years ago, 2016. Now you're president of Ghana. Send your way in a way. And now a core opposition in William. And I was here in Fanchester, no bars and Fancher, no Fedi, Makusiabi.
I've been able to put a cavity. I'll see a cafe.
Our dear ever to jackpot.
Well, come on,
we cannot allow NDC to come to power and use us again. I see the long suffering Ghana city will be stabilized and strengthened. The private sector will receive the biggest job-related stimulus package in Ghanaian history. So we have a year, the mobile say okay, so almost 2 billion. 2 billion. You need better businesses. I mean, big enterprises no. Bunso eman guye na COVID in so bad egunu. The government will give 2 billion with private sector. The government will be or say a third. A third is 66%, which means 660 million will come from government. The rest, about 1.340 will come from private sector. You never saw industries, so that they can create jobs. In this, Obama say, Obama businessmen, Sika, and Umbia, about 3 weeks ago, and son over the maybe a can and no from was it Zongo development.
Only a deprived areas.
Makaranta for President Kufuor Jomo, Makaranta teachers. President Kufuor Jomo had to wait. It's a saying, Kremofo, Mimi was saying, and Kremofo, I'm Chadi. When this Bambi can you pay them? MPP buying us Adiaba. Now, what can call list away? He said, what about Mugo Tia Makaran teacher? Makaranta teachers.
Adiaba call Califa Zungu, I'm for any my home. Cabra, Tibets, no. One erroneous impression almost as if say, Oko Technical School, NFA, no declares I 2012, Anabutiu. Expansion of equitable access to technical and vocational education and training by locating such institutions in the Zongos and underserved areas of urban communities. NDC Manifesto 2012, page 18. Come out to the Okai. Some of your home year, Yanni Zongo, and what this is, meanwhile, 2006, now President from the Mobile Bandini. Now, so one background and Kawode Bar was in Zongo areas and underserved areas. Omuni Pano, I have what the best apprentice, no, focus on female students and the provision of stipends for identified apprentices. Wasaka in 2020 manifesto. Actually, contribute.
From Entiquabra, they have nothing to offer. Woman, we are manifesto.
And non FM.
And now, no class, no signing, no more repeating from 2012
2008.
Oh man, and we are now Mubeditro, Omubeditro. Near me, person Ghana for whom and San Masor Echo, and he said, so far sector by sector, the performance, sector by sector, NDC for Udumbaso 100 years, Okufuado 3.5 years, open to me, because Osha. In Yamaya, we have factories. And now Kumasia, and Ijaba, Dako Farms, poultry, revived.
I see.
Asamoah and Yamua, revived.
Boris B.
We have, a friend is saying, potting, agro, revived.
Central region.
Yes, central region. Now, pay a bang way. Now, a bang now pay. Education. Oko educational. Over 1,199,000 students. ABCDA in the history of this country are eco school. Do you know in the near future their contribution to the human resource and labor force? We're building capacity. Usha schools are yes, 1.5 billion on the education. Emu 500 million per and a release. But the job they have done, Kwabra, you have no idea. Mudi NDC ba power, cash and carry never. Senye Akufuado and a Ghana from who said NDC for the Hamo and a mama no buyer and cash and carry this high. Or buy national health insurance. Omukomboko atu onyina yetua. Ye say tua. Ye ni ayede. Na umpa buy we upade. Hwe COVID the buy. Yetimi ka che say electricity amount 50% 3 months. Yasa the another 3 months account. Insure 3 months. Yasa the another 3 months account. Mahama and NDC for. And kasa brei and they create root and share. Come disikano e man ka ha COVID ni yes America because ka say enkofa enkofu ni amra and you hear manifesto no they haven't said anything. There's nothing new here and no ma betina see a copy and we didn't postpone no ma yin ba and ranu because some said they don't have anything. The kwabra big copy MPPD among frontier na adwuma pa ekufu adwa ye factories abagana employment ya create na obi aso oba obi create employment to over 2 million we dey ask me ba me do ko wachi 1 million akwa bon ana we ready a manifesto na hu say employment ground
say be he been since already obetumi aye.
And the NHS said he's not capable of running this country. As simple as that. He's not capable of running this country.
And we the answer now because you will find economic unity. I mean for we income kakadi na yeso nko. Na so hwa NDC since 2008. One more catchy slogan Emma economic over 2008 paid 42 to 45 or say strong economy for real jobs. Over 2012 paid 30 to 33. Strong economy and resilient economy. Strong and resilient economy. 2016 paid 30 to 38. Strong economy for jobs and transformation. Now we are areas here on Beka and Wansem Anabutinu Nafatu to say no or say an annual growth rate of at least 8%. 2008 paid 45. Osaba an average growth rate of at least 8%. 2012. Omukika ya anye yeno. Odu this year macro he was silent. What can I say? The broad macro fiscal target of the next NDC government are 1. Low level of inflation. Meanwhile 2008 2012 no inflation target as set now 8%. When to me anything was it low level of inflation? They make a tear for more when this manifesto this year, Who bet me behind this manifesto pay 21, they are silent about that. Now, high levels of inclusive and sustainable growth rate. Meanwhile, someone can say growth rate na mubinyano. I was say no, this is the figure they quoted. Mudru Hanumwa, they are silent about that. A tear for Munus and Krufwe Pano, an average growth rate of at least 8%. Wamu can we know 2008-12. Wamudru Hano. Or say high levels of inclusive and sustainable growth rate. Kwabena say the man for figure behind show no oma edin ho. Now say inflation, low levels of inflation that will translate into reduced lending interest rate. Meanwhile, I have also no interest rate no say a single digit rate of inflation. But a name say 2008 2012 momentino. Omudu say they are silent about that. That is how smart. But the point is say Adia here is massive and come tell you pay. MPP for manifesto ye papentino. You launch in a year will be only and Abunya sanity. Where the Nicodemus, where your friend Nicodemus budget to. Now when Nicodemus they have Ghana frontiers and say Mekwa me maybe you kwabrasi kan kontia. Yes I dey.
There be NDC for the man kan kontia.
Nadia
we are ketene sami jamfi catch police for. One man police for, no soldiers for bebre or Ghana warning. Say Adana nando be common so come.
What you say? What you say?
Asa be kwa me maybe you can cunning.
Na wonu ankasa kwabna ani aje koma mame osuma bombusia. Na aje to mo na me kwaba e do de be ma wo. Dia no ofiri so o sa pa bi okura na ye wie ye ode mai. Na wo wie yi a wo kwa wo mma bi no. E no be gina no keka we se na yebeti. adeɛ we say no deɛ fortune deɛ ɔmo ka ɛyɛ nneɛma mmiɛnsa nkontompo ɛne MPP deɛ ɔmo wia ɛne nneɛma ɔmo akeka since 2008 ɔmo atumi anya ne mmiɛnsa. These are the three components. Ghana frontiers is her.
Yadasi Admako if you're not booking so Yadasi. Unya Maba and Chebe sorry so Akasimaka Krebia. Yade Ebeje Mwadrenchana and Kaka message Kakra Prosper Donku was in 2018 according to former President Mahama to spend 2 billion on free senior high school is wasteful expenditure. And he said it was going to harm the economy. Now the same person is promising 5 billion on big push investment. Don't trust him. And also Ivan Yao. Also, Ken, please don't forget the payment that this government had to pay to teachers, to the teachers' pension, national health insurance scheme, and those who work for 3 years and we paid for 3 months that this government also had to pay. I'm can hear so more can na say I can pension we been so moment ya also I can home and for Ishmael so NDC must apologize to the youth for denying them access to senior high school between 2009 to 2016. It is most of these youth who are riding Okada now, unfortunately, instead of giving them hope for the future by promising them a safer and well-paid jobs, they are going to keep them in that unsafe jobs. It is sad. Oh, and Rapana Okada Mutu Ikani Okada Bishia Wakanda traffic light no so Yakete. We are getting bomwa wankasa na areho adwuma wo bi pese obeye no breben na akwase sanipa yen regulate Peter Poku has offered to regulate Okada to the same status as vehicles, as Mahama said, means to ask Okada to pay road tax, insurance and go for license to ride. As of now, Okada need none of this. Is this what Okada riders need? Mama should go back to the thinking table. If he thinks he's to do this to help them. Okay. Moro Farouk Williams. Thank you, Honorable Ken, for bringing our attention to the irresponsible statement by Asiedun Ketia, virtually insulting the intelligence of all Ghanaians, except Professor Jane. It's unbelievable. The John that said we will not waste 2 billion cedis on free senior high school restoration of allowance is still dangerous to our education and future generations. Let's reject the Kwekwanansi stories by NDC. Regards to SG John Boadu and Sami Ewuku. Young Korea Nimpacho Yak Womreka Crab between Alfredo against Raba 0574 955440 and 0508346915. Na wade wadwenkyerɛ aba nkyerɛ sɛ akɔyɛ anim saa ne ɛyɛ no kakra bi
Yama MPP aban yes you know say no na me pesa me ka say me adwuma mo yama MPP aban ayama MPP ko so many dodo nti me damase na no nyina ntina ne no maba mo minimum kase nti eno na asema say me ka san kwa na e ba be she bibia se ya sha se me damase pa
na yate yanso yada asese wo hu adwuma pa ye yan call line also na fi yan kasa yan call line also na yan kasa. Hello, good evening. Bacho dini baby afrefi. Yeah, bacho kasa.
So I did month across MC this is no buy no. It's not what kind of free almost year free or down or across the road and almost free the Subwa Johnson, apart from a few somewhat you are. You know, better I can be papa on the sweet end of the year.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, drink tray. Also waiting there about 0508 346915 and 0574 955440. This is one of the phone lines. How be our home. Hello, good evening. Bajo Kaza. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. I say for Hannah Bremer, where I miss phone lines, no FEC difficulty, and Yan Kebetos, but say this year.
I'm no quack. Send a Grace Homeopathic Clinic. Yes, I did. You been at your power.
You better also service capa.
We best service with Grace Homeopathic Clinic. That's not why I read on motion.
Obani right to Okopa, General Consulting, Laboratory Services, Physiotherapy, General Body Scan, and a dietary counseling. The BIA free. Grace Homeopathic Clinic in charge of hey.
Are you sure?
Hey, no crepa.
I just got a clear Ubetia, and Yajuno. One see the end and papa, sir. Also, Nancy no Casa and Koye, near Jumaka Crabia no bread, and Rani Atoyama, Ayoya, Ubeti, Bisse, Nanjarosin and Tiapo, but as a way yard, I record the womb. And one is set Obeko, Grace Homeopathic Clinic, not only a breath if you have any pedrenum asaware. Grace Homeopathic Clinic, oh Medina, Akacha Bolasto, for 0556 181 666, and now 020 006 7500.
With Nigeria heavily dependent on oil for its revenue generation, the oil-driven volatility is affecting government revenue generation, hence the need to diversify the economy for national growth and development. According to a report by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, SNEPC, the poor performance of the economy in 2015 was the big challenge to policymakers, with economic growth weakened to 2.7%, which was considered the lowest or the slowest since 1991. With the dwindling government revenue occasioned by the sustained downturn in the price of crude oil in the international market, which has exposed the vulnerability of our monolithic economy to external shocks, there is a compelling need to diversify the economy. This, of course, requires a deliberate and concerted intervention to expand activities in underdeveloped sectors and to open new economic frontiers. Nigeria, for many years, was home to 37.1 billion barrels of proven oil reserves and 5.1 trillion cubic meters of cubic feet of natural gas earnings from export of crude oil, crude petroleum, and over the years provided the country with huge foreign exchange earnings and a major source of financing government expenditures. This has given the country the Dutch disease and near collapse of all sectors of the economy, including agricultural, manufacturing, mining, non-oil exports. We can go on, with the resultant consequences to the Nigerian economy. I have joining me now via Skype from Abuja to give more insights into our topic of conversation for today is the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mr. Olusegun Awolowo. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Awolowo, and it's good to see you.
Nice to see you, Tolu. Thank you very much. Let me first congratulate you on the very good work TVC is doing, particularly your program on Nigerian business. It's very commendable.
All right, I must thank you so much, and it's really good to see you. Research shows that Nigeria will lose more than $100 million to cocoa and cashew exports in 2020 as the coronavirus pandemic continues to hit hard on non-oil exporting countries. Now, I know a lot of figures can come out aside from that. Now, take us through what might happen to Nigeria in all of this, particularly our export market.
Well, the story is the same. the story is the same. And this is what we've been saying since. We cannot continue to rely on oil as our only source of foreign exchange. You know, in the intro to the program, you had said a lot about the CBN, the BDCs, etc., etc. And it's obvious the quest and the struggle is for foreign exchange. Now, you are running an economy where 90% of your foreign exchange earnings are on oil. It is not sustainable. And that is what we found out. Like the question on cocoa, for example, we're estimating we're going to lose around $100 million in 2020 compared to 2019. Yeah, and that is the story all over for many of our products. You have a pandemic that has hit our highest buyers in the economy. So, of course, they're not buying. This is not the time they're eating chocolate so much anyway in Europe now. So that is the major problem with our economy. Find another source to earn foreign exchange.
Now, let's now look at efforts aimed at sustaining exports at the moment. And we've seen recent partnerships. We've seen you always from FOB Logistics and also lately commissioning of British Airways cargo. Now, what does this portend for Africa's most populous nation? All of these moves you're making, even despite the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, yes. The most important thing is how to move our goods out of Nigeria, how to link them to foreign markets, how we can get our SMEs, MSMEs to start earning this elusive foreign exchange that is out there. And so that has been the challenge, and that's been why we developed what we call the Zero Oil Plan. And the Zero Oil Plan is simply saying that Nigeria must survive in a world economy in which she no longer sells oil. It sounds very ambitious, audacious to a point, but that is just what must happen, that we must grow our economy in such a way that we are no longer relying only on oil. So we identified some 22 strategic products. We have the high foreign forex value products, where Nigeria will make significant foreign exchange. That's gold, petrochemicals, ammonia, fertilizer, iron ore, and manufactured products. Then we have the high economic impact products that we will not make so much foreign exchange, but will create significant jobs and drive inclusion into the economy. Those are ginger, sesame, soybeans, hibiscus, cocoa, cashew, oilseeds, gum arabic, just to mention a few. So that's all along the line. And then we have our export of services, where we are now concentrating on how to get this foreign exchange directly into the Nigerian economy, from our export for music, creative industry, financial services, etc., etc. So that's what we were working on.
Now, the issues of processors is something that's very important here. Farmers, they talk about losing farm produce. And on the excuse of rejection of agro-allied products exported from Nigeria to other countries, now especially Europe and America. Now, what's being done to address this ugly trend? It is very worrisome.
Yes, but not so much. Not so much now. Okay. It was in the past. We are meeting standards now. We're working with the Ministry of Agric. We're going back to the farmers. A lot of them are being trained, because now we're letting them understand it's from the farm to the table. That's the economic model of if you want to export your goods, and they're getting aware of that now. We're working with NAFDAC, with the SON, Nigerian Quarantine Services. Everything is in sync. I mean, there is a committee which we put together. It's now being adopted as a federal government committee on zero rejects, so that Nigeria must not have rejects again in our goods and services. But we know many of these things are done that, some non-tariff barriers in trade that we have to go through. It takes longer. But all in all, it's even better for us to develop our safety standards in food, particularly for the economy.
Now let's now look at this report from the Bank of Industry, talking about the leather industry. Now, a lot has been said about Nigeria's leather industry. I've attended fairs with you, trainings with you, trying to encourage Nigerians to move more into this sector. And since it can generate more than $700 million annually, that's with limited support, and has the capacity to also create more than 700,000 direct and indirect jobs. Now, what are you doing more? Tell us more about what you're doing to promote this industry, leather in focus now.
The leather industry is a very good one for Nigeria. But then again, many of these industries are good for Nigeria. But again, I say we are not producing enough. So the Zero Oil Plan is calling for increased production and productivity along all these sectors. In leather, for instance, we struggle. We were making some, I think, up to $3 billion on export of leather from our tanneries, in Kano, in Sokoto, etc. That's the main of our export of leather, so which is not too bad. We're supporting them with the export expansion grant, and some of them from there's a spillover. There's one particular company that is now established a sesame seed factory to process sesame oil. So it's good for us. Now, but what we're saying is that, look, it's time for the leather industry to know, it was this one of our leather exporters, Femi, World of Bags, who she came up with the idea to have a leather seminar. So we had the first one, and I attended. And the second one, I said, no, it's not going to be this way, because many of the leather manufacturers, the SMEs, MSMEs doing bags, doing shoes and everything, the leather they're using are the rejects coming from Europe. Now, look at the irony. Nigeria is so full of ironies that for me, it's just impossible. The leather goes out from Kano. It goes to Europe. The rejects that they can't use there, they send it back to Nigeria, we buy it. I said, this is crazy. Let us let the tanneries, let them know that we have a leather industry, particularly in Lagos, it's in Aba area, that we can link them. So for the first time, they attended the fair, and many of them were surprised that, oh, you're making shoes there, you're making bags there. Oh, this is the leather. This is the leather for you, because this is what all the big stores use in Europe and America. So that's the linkage. So now we're able to bring it back, and they can get their leather directly from Kano. And but it was sweet for the tanneries anyway to export directly. So we have to tell them, look, we're giving you this incentive. Give us leather for our manufacturers and our SMEs here in down south, so they can produce. And that's the two-legged way we're approaching everything. Because under the Nigerian Industrial Revolution plan, the plan is to move away from just export of raw materials, that we have to start processing. We need the jobs that this thing creates. So that's the attitude we're taking for most of our stuff. I'll tell you about cashew. It's the same two-legged approach we have. We tell them, okay, yes, you export the kernels, but no, we also want you to start processing so we can have our own cashew to export, processed cashew to export. And we're doing that now. We have semi-processed cashew going at about $500,000 every month out of Nigeria. And we're now working on the fully processed cashew that we can sell.
Sounds very good. Now, Mr. Olo, let's now, what more do you need? I'm aware of the Zero Oil Plan, which I can see that zeal. I see how well you're moving at achieving that. But what more do you need to to make us get to where we are supposed to be in a very good time?
Yes. First, I must let you know that, look, the productive base of our economy are agriculture and industry. We need massive investments. The kind of investment you put in oil fields to prosper for oil. We need those kind of investments. Now, it's not going to yield results overnight. You must be aware of that. But look, these investments never fail. Like, okay, when I read 2 weeks ago, 140 billion naira Nigeria spent on our refineries, 6 refineries. They're not working. That's just the maintenance. 140 billion. If you take 10 billion in a rice plantation, take another 10 in cocoa plantation, take another 10 in sesame seed, you will always see results. You will always see results. Establish a tomato processing plant for that kind of money. You will see results because you start doing paste, you start doing so many things, and you will create jobs. So that is what we're saying about this zero economy. After all, oil only gives you about 7% of your GDP. Agric another 17%. What is driving your GDP is services. That's about 57%. But you are not earning foreign exchange from that part of your economy, which is the change you have to do, to drive it. And after presenting this to the federal government, everything, the National Economic Council set up a committee to drive the zero oil plan. And that's the National Committee on Export Promotion. It's chaired by the governor of Jigawa State. There's some governors and the ministries that are important to this as members, and also different MDAs. And we had our first virtual meeting just 2 weeks ago. We're going to have another technical session meeting where we're saying, okay, let's see how government can assist the states, because we're working with the states also on this one state, one product, that they identify at least one product that we can export out. Many states have many, as you must know. So that's what we are collating and working together. And we're getting the drive now. We're getting the push. We're getting the drive to make this all happen for Nigeria. I'm very optimistic that, because everybody knows really that we really have to diversify our economy. But I say the economy is already diversified, but you are not earning foreign exchange you need from it. So you have to look at that, because the cry now is, how do we earn foreign exchange? And when we can no longer sell oil. I don't want our story to be, I keep telling people, I don't want any NNPC story to be the Exxon story. If you know what I'm talking about, Exxon was suspended from the Dow Jones Exchange just some weeks ago. They had a debt of over $267 billion or something. They bet on oil failed. They started betting on gas. Meanwhile, the world is moving towards renewable energy, renewable batteries. So you have to be careful that you don't want that story to be the NNPC story, and then you have an empty bread basket. So what happens to the economy?
It's a good way to leave it. Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, thank you so much for your commendation. I'm going to take it back to my crew members so that they hear from you. Thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adaruma ashe MPP aban animonyam ama wabua ma 16 regions. Saban we wambu Ghana for animtia. Oko back to parliament. Samene okasei parliament last year I approve framework say yensi to anya say MPP aban na aka kakeu. Ne mum parliament nso agiatum say yensi 32 centers of excellence across the whole country. Region bia ebenya mienu. Now on top of it onto aban so fa kwan say every district bia no enya kra no say nya
one TVET center, pure TVET center. Mikroma kumadan ebi koho. Abaya daroma ebi koho. Enyinem ya o konkran we de so kono akohwe ebi enyinem ebi ewo. Asin jakai. Any technical complete new school. Complete new school. 32 centers no and so near Brio Bia phase 1 no encha no yeah they are so day buffer because I go through parliament, I go through cabinet, I go through parliament, I go through all the finances, I go through value for money. They say no all the preconditions na yeah say has been met and encha phase 1 no if yes all the new regions near started with them. All the new regions are going to get
more workshops.
And yes, more workshop. Kahun emenya the who be infonino ni adia ya approve no be bet show. They have state of the art workshops any area so ko ekrobi e wo wiase mu a enioma e wo ho omudisua ensano adwuma no emu bi pepepe e na ebe wo ho.
Da bi afene no e ba ho.
Yeah, no, she say phase 1 no. Okay. Phase 1 because over the next 4 years we have to complete all the 32 centers.
Okay.
And phase 1 no because Parliament approve a framework no for 32 and almost approve a facility for phase 1.
Okay.
Sabria make us a go phase 1 where ejuma we precondition for phase 1 no you go phase 2 so ejuma ye bon
phase 2 no ye den
phase 2 no because 32 no ye seen in 3 phases.
Okay.
Phase 2 no so ye 12 institution. Okay. Phase 1 ye 9 institution all the new regions no Savannah, Oti, Northeast, Omunyina, Western of Omunyina, Ebenya, New TVET Center, Omunyina back, Ombenya 2 per that region. 2 per that region. Because our Bible time say over the next few years, at least district Biano, when you know, so not less than 1 pure technical institution.
Okay.
Pure. Yes, secondary technical.
Bian's Musia, more the equipment. And no, na yanam because on say Messi. Omo machine room. To which you say mubenyo omo diamom. Omo ye auto mechanic, auto no crano doso. Ebi ye omo ye engineer, omo ye body works. Any omo.
If I yeah some of the schools ebenya jewelry. You share Ghana, Nanka, your blacksmith, goldsmith, near the gold that you 2 a hay, Nina, the Quamon, jewelry, so account, it's in your money, Nina, a bebuamaya industrializing, Oka, a Greek, Nioma say you are Greek, mechanization in home, and ya account, auto industry, no, all the various trades, Nina, account, Oko ICT, all the various trades, Nina, account, Oko. Performing art. In fact, an EG Semba Kone said the first ever school of performing arts, which is a TVET school, is being built in Kumasi as I'm talking to you.
Kumasi
Kwadaso. Kumasi Kwadaso. It got brand new. Everything from grants. Most of the buildings, Edru Lenti Biwa or more a flow. So, me no Kasei or Mampenny last year no cockati sword. Ube kodi ya opa suma wonsenka for
the movie village was a den debina.
Yes. Omuko chamfoni if you say only across tiana o do jumano kwambe nene befa so atitino because juma mu fankrofo mo amutimi obia oye artist no or kwa obi obeye ni makeup amano obi obeye ni dress am and this is how Aban is doing to make sure say ye be dane technical and vocational emu enti esi abo Aban so niema MPP Aban another at least the next 10 years because trajectory aye koi minua niema aye ye mpanyimfo unya be ye panya you are gone enchima enaka niema aye ye gusu ni ye ekwa da chinchima eni beji na ye goodie aye to most of them ye be refining wa and then na me hwe ade bi wo TV so India almost Africa there your raw materials in ye ya na de abre omo no ma refining no ma put here no ma add value no mo de abre
MPP aban say yeah raw materials no a bread say yetimi add value to it here. Because sika no bia ambusia bebre ekobubo ya sika no omogia no mo dane ania na omasa ade amaye sapre sika gold ayetu aha cocoa ayetu aha bauxite oil insu bebre be ka ho kwan be so na ye benya skill people na yetimi aboa na ye Ghana fo na ye adwuma na busu e wo ha mayen emabunu adwuma titiru enti na MPP aban ye mampanyin na nado danko akufuado ediem nu se ehese ensano adwuma sua etumpon ne fanom tumafia e wo kwan foforo so
Boiling point 2 free o man 107.1 FM ye we said ye be ya Ghana ni bia wutie ye no obehunu abanso anamontu a wotu edefa technical and vocational education hona ochena wote so bi kasa me ba me ye ni se sini se hu sanse convert ehɔ na bibia ye coordinative free MPP aban na de ba in 2006 oja hɔ no yeto na jeje mu saa ekosise Ghana for asade MPP aba in 2017 a omo aba beto aso na enhihye ya abaye de ama obi a owie school ompese enye ngoma sua se ni sua yi na emom adwuma sua nso abata ho obi otimi di bibi nsa no eye bibi ho asem na eka na Fred na wo ka se first no obi fi se bia ofiri ho a ontimi enkoye degree ana ontimi mfa obi ntimi mfa eye ngoma sua no na hu hiamo ankasa anasa scale no because big kira say in fact your polytechnic cra yes omo award degree any ade no nka hu hia ye make sure say omo no ewo nsa no adwuma yetimi edie bibi because industry mu no skills no nkrofo omo kwasa betimi de omo nsa adwuma no ene hia but polytechnic binim say bia eniema ani ho ntreo is a polytechnic nso aba ye marketing, purchasing and supply, HR. HR, say HR be non visa in a juma.
Minia, and then I'll call purchasing, and then I'll call supply. And until buying essay, all our technical universities.
Purchasing supply chain.
Or say all our technical universities should have a niche area.
Okay.
Now, you're making sure say they are doing more of technical stuff. So even though purchasing and supply, Krana, it has to be competency based. To the extent say, what can I even produce so that I can purchase it and I can supply it? If it's not balancing, you create and crofo on bebana omunye jumanye. And penyinfo say, oh the one no, edon yrea, ebinya day engo. I'm so ready some manifesto be about Brebia. You can say even gratis nomni adi cry a colleges of TVET by 2016. What happened? This is a government that every single thing or kind about TVET no or implement it one after the other. Sabre technical investors are very excited. First, not technical universities, vice chancellor, now they are poised, they are excited, and they are taking the lead in TVET. Because when they are successful, we will be successful. And Abai making sure, say, all the plans that they need to put in place, set a bear TVET, a bit me a fan into my prefrano. Oh, yeah. And the Ohia, let's say Ghana for a bebuana, ya bo MPP, Abai Chidom. Nani oma papa omo yema Ghana mine said the bear stand your juma best sano asisa nami jina wa video so edi a futu any chapa ama yema minom ye papa nom awofo wa obi to nchen se sabria ye mano ko ye selection for almost secondary no but modia say category E, which is the technical and vocational education institution, should be their first choice.
Okay.
Now, oh yes, sir, you ever your kids are now obano obua omwa, they will ever be grateful to you. If we say, se wenyansa no adwuma mbuni kwasiada imposo onya kwanya na so okwa manonia e san no adwuma owunti no tambia no adwuma obenya biaye ti eba adwuma na se adwuma eguni esi yi nkrofo adia enipa he na omo wo omo san no adwuma omo ye technical ye yi omadi mpepi uye HR ne ahon uye admin ne ahon but the oye electrical technician oye installer oye tiler oye IT specialist no ye knew omo just like that. Bibiti say even cyber security nanu moya no ena ye call Russia we ase afa na nyina ekohia esiakan ewo skills what we call the World Skills International. Na World Skills International no Ghana aye the 81st member a sign abanyi enia eku technical and vocational exactly na enyoma na omo ye no estronko na omo a omo gina ho ye enyoma no most of them ye nkra o enya so omo ye mpanyimfo 15 17 18 na ogina no ye electrical installation wakata nani na oye no koba santi by the time sakra we China for no ye electrical 17 18 40 by the time only 23 no no wa ben wo saadie nim eno na ye ka so obi abia no wa ben eno na MPP aban pese eyo mo butaye se Ghana manyina no ebetimi na aboa na adwuma ebuso na obi apese obi adwuma wa by the center of the world ye Ghana we have one of the best weathers your hospitality and sumdwe wa bagana no wa bebie se adwuma no timi tu awufu bebre fo se sabre ya omuma ekoye selection no omo modern say omo first choice a man koye yi name almost first choice ebeye a technical and vocational institution what category in
na ene na me baby sawo Fred enra say it is some mampani akwa kokati so the beef for beef
a foundry and machining center
there na no be
yo say make say aban say oye what we call strategic manufacturing I bet me I industrialize your institutions your country na Ghana beyond aid agenda no aye possible na ekrobia etumpon bia no say utimi sa foundry ya ye koda na di utimi nane enade na utimi modi no na utimi etwitwa if you say car nyina nade na ye da hihiem impo abefo computer esisi animu nade na hihiem empempi no sa nade yi ye da ye kokra fi amanone ye nuanom ewa abosi okan ebia na omupe dade bi e de aye bibi ibese age say akokra fi amanone osisa breed ye ntimi enye bi wa ha na yantete enkra na omuntimi emwa na industry we nkoso foundry no enye we ne kase na emse enche ye bia na o mampanyi kate sword ewo CSR na ba konso KNUST onu nyina no o ma start construction dada enche bia no omu bewie enti foundry and machining centers ne ade a ehu hiama oman bia industrialization agenda say obe melt Ubenane na wari modi na fe udi CNC eni ade atimi atwitwa nche bia ubi bi say ya na ehia boat bi na ese etimi ko ema etimi ekotwitwa ye in fact watch ni ade ya ebubo ye ko Switzerland omo bin wo watch ye mu pa and some of these things no omo the CNC machine no na omo computerize na etimi atwitwa ne nkitinkiti ya ma ni ayo watch na bowa unhu de edwom enso na bibi wo so no na o kire emre saa ni o na of my penny MPP adban yes said ye beya ebeboa na Ghana afane ntuma pefra and we mu nyina technical and vocational education nti eno anso mimi nso nya akwanya ekobo mampanyi echidom na mani ajepa na minim se ebekoso aboa ama Ghana man etumpo.
Okay, God me ka message kakreb na fe what the questions a bread doctor.
Okay.
And Sanya Nene, or say hi. The good people of Oman, please, can you please ask doctor for me? I attended Sunyane Technical School. I could recommend that there were machines, but our teachers could not operate them. So when I traveled to the UK, I saw that the lecturer should be sent outside to train how to use the machines. Alternatively, we can employ engineers from outside first. We have Kumasi University, but we import everything. They have not been able to invent anything. My name is Nanaya Maya, or Northampton, UK. And they also know called technical school, but now machines they see no na or more teachers or more any use. Also, okay, okay, Oka TDC, Dano Hassam for any cockroach. Greetings to you, Offer. I'm very glad about tonight's discussion. TVET has registered a certain impression on the minds of Ghanaians, including teachers, as admitted by your resource person. I suggest that they change the name to, for example, utility and technology education.
We'll be going for professional education, professional training.
Okay. Also, Nadia, our day air well, it's a good evening, boss. Gone are the days where one goes to technical and vocational school because he or she cannot do well in their reading courses. Now the story is different. Products from these schools are hotcakes all over the world. Even the new curriculum in school now is aimed at unearthing the know-how of learners. It is highly embedded with technical and vocational education. I must say, the MPP government is really driving Ghana into the new era where citizens are equipped with skills and know-how, not only in books, but practically as well. The dream of the youth in the small towns and villages is to have skills to survive. The Amenado-led government is making their dreams come through the TVET. I always say, what Amenado can see while sitting down, Mahama will never see, even if he climbs Mountain Afajato. Hashtag for more for Nana Koku Amoko Hay for Dance My Snap and we do a banner. Although media Niswadi Huna Sundudo said a Fred the Cano Tremusa and I'm saying, nah.
Yes, I can say YouTube was also live. YouTube was also and no YouTube was so bit me as a chair or Man FM. YouTube was so bit me. I share now. You just dog question you know be back the suggestion was say for more than 2 decades. Yes, or Manu Eddie. You quite in your side to the sense, and ma at the end go put technical education punyanko and crack on. And to much as right from the outset, na Crano was asking no boon moi now Wakuno because we say Utifanko baby. But was he Musa say, send number to me, I encouraging Quarano. It was school from primary school level where I said, there's a carpentry in the interest, and I'm scenery, and I say, professional skills and be an interest. Said the bit I encourage you, Musa Momon Omunkuno. Name no muntimi Hansen na no movie JSS ometa secondary school akwa fasa course no na ometa ba professional dachi. Second one so be say we interested also ka say is figures no almost tripled into the course so be the capital figures no so amana enko pepa because say enko fomu say nipa komwa almost betimi any beje hona almost betimi akọ TVET no aba be yibi into no side me document amount.
Okay. Minya meda si bebre. The home said no man a dorsum. I'm saying to me and canina ne kwan bemo
obesa baby obeba baby
kasa efa Ghana TVET voucher project a team training almost 13,000 plus in the various areas ye pijamu bio and yeah apprenticeship no na national apprenticeship policy make us a Ministry of Education the eco cabinet and also ye bekasa ho onyoma bebre wom bebo ye TVET ho bra na me ba question ne so a me can say 65,907 right now and a technical invocation straight technical institutions no omu nyina e free TVET e free dada say any the same back your MPP manifesto need to two one say oh tertiary and don't see a free the other two one because your amount you hear bia the school unko pabosi anko tua school the way I buy mousika don't pay way na pedenti invariably I can confidently say tertiary education na enye for TVET in tertiary education so e free.
Okay,
and that is what a country can do for its citizens.
Okay.
Now about perception, kwaya yefa subu TVET enimtiano as part of the 5-year strategic plan, no, under the major policies, no, one of the activities, no, being say marketing and promotion of TVET.
Okay.
And nutina abayi elanche what we call My TVET campaign. Now My TVET campaign na yigusu di hujumano ya started pilot, which is career guidance and counseling with 100 junior secondary schools. You bet trema mana cover all the junior secondary school na fe a trickle down to the primary school level. At the same time, no skills competition na ye institute Ghana and then wakodom we are seeing no and also no another way I dey be faso na ye bo TVET mudaro. Minya Enkrana 2018 omo participate first skills national TVET competition no emumi ensanya akwanya eko Italy eko sua ade omo baye omanya project omo ye TVET ne betimi ayesa ebi anya wa papa wo sika nko na wo betimi anya akwanya akosua bibi wa amanone nneoma ensano adwuma sua no ebetimi di wadu baabi bebre enti eno no ye skill competition no afei so no enchekra no ye bada what we call TVET ambassadors omo so be koso no mayusu omo enipa dodo edi omachi no no mo de abodaru hia TVET yeah you see TVET
ambassadors say more for me sakura mpa yo ba ko wa ye de ba ko be che free osaberema wo ye TVET ambassador akasa enti de untimi ba ko kura mpa ye wono
electrician
na afin so ya TVET clubs our junior secondary school and My TVET campaign no is a comprehensive project and not just focusing on just perception about TVET into no said ya beya krani bebre krampo no how do they know say TVET school na e wo ha no e bia ukopando amebe mikra men yesu tumra no achiri wo hwe TVET schools na ini nyina if I say Accra Technical Institution and cry omo first year emma various trades omo auto body repair, motor vehicle engineering, welding and fabrication, mechanical engineering, small engine repair, electrical engineering, plumbing and gas fitting, wood construction, building construction, refrigeration and air conditioning, business system technician, computer technology, creative art technology, architectural drafting, so we want to make sure say they are preview to all these program at the younger age. Nanya say onim say because say onim adwuma ba ko penti no ene wan ko school bia on tiasie enti these are nyoma ye encourage say oko Codvet website as part of the My TVET campaign no ye wo interactive website ubetimi akọ enkra no ye betimi pesi encourage wo mo no mo ye exposed to some of these at early age. Cartoons say betimi aye ni nyina no ye fibiase a ye nyesa afi ne ye beye ye fibiase a ye
what about some crowns wo JSS sa options nyina even before mbe choose school no e be so tumo mu because they are the ones who obetimi akọ technical vocational school but sa courses nyina de kra no onim obukra IT and no person ya obetimi akọ technical school straight
Exactly. He said we want to make this available to parents, any junior secondary schools, Said we said tema technical and make a free data. Intimini problem nya afi na me ko kase me pete tema technical free data, Accra technical free data, Sacred Heart technical free data, Teshi technical free data, Ada technical free data, Don Bosco me kwa me kase me bobo mi na afi ya mo mahu the various programs I said be ya enkra no betusu a o be kase enya bia chinchina ese mi ko we. In fact, so Oma omodi omunsa no nsa ye adwuma no omo ha na be fa lawyer for ne accountants ne bankers ma omuti omuka enti se omo don so a wa hwe a bankers cramp no omu enye enti no ese ye bomoden se ye mkra ne bebre ebetimi ehu saadie
god now himself fire button or fire boy yeah it offer unim say oh yeah, said polytechnic quite like
no boy
through technical na a day of the and I said BB say na a message now ban or at least the free form yet technical for no hono yentimen kakra or say hi offer I am an active listener of Boiling Point. I just want to confess that the program is very informative and I must congratulate you for a good job done. Yeah, Amenado. And na ni trimo po. Kama ni niso adi hunu kasiye. Ena ye chiri mu ama manfo hu. Anado anko kufado na MPP. Abaye dwumaje was say I am a mechanic I am a mechanical technician engineer who has over 2 decades of experience having worked in the industry. I have now set up my company to provide engineering and maintenance services to all the 1D1F factories springing up throughout the country and other industry. I'm a holder of mechanical engineering technician level 3 in plant engineering, and I'm humbly asking you to, okay, on our person more contact note me mom. Oh, Odensan wa juan de am so wa common no dawo. Say this kono. Here iba kon or say my name is Emmanuel. I work at Pioneer Food Company, popularly known as Starkis. I'm a mechanical engineering but by virtue of my hard work and knowledge and skills, I now work mostly as civil engineering and in many other capacities. I say this initiative by the MPP is going to bring Ghana's education higher, to catapult our technical ability to be innovative, and there has to be a law in Ghana that will guide this. What in any agenda say? Utim sansanwa juma yeu. Obviously, the only solution to Ghana's problem is competent-based training program. The secret behind German success story. I'm saying Germany and some European countries. I'm saying about and San Juan I'm so more bempa.
Germany that is so.
MPB Abai say within the next 5 years, every single institution should be using competency-based training approach, including our technical universities. Because with that, no be complaining about the fact that equipments be or not instructors no intimi enyusu. Yeah. So a competency-based training that means that the teacher has to display an ability so bet me use equipment until we need to, so there's more work for the TV sector. We need to get most people from industry to be able to teach and collaborate with academia to teach, so that teachers are almost training institution and use equipment we have to retrain them, and that is one of the things that we are doing to see I do go back near retraining and also from time to time they have to do an industrial follow up. In fact, the national apprenticeship policy na Ministry of Education at the core cabinet no say nyame buana ejua ebe da sa nyoma we mu nyina di na abehye your competency based training we approach no mu emma.
For just one last be FJ Kwana, a better Petanian was a better city. Because I found that I don't go a ship up. I think for the suggestions and the questions more ever.
Media dear make say me catch a gun and mine say a sunset technical and vocational education a free nintino say oba select in the second cycle institution manning selected category E, which is a non a categorizing technical and vocational institution, you know. TVET a free unkutia mo bin kasa fe na ebe free. In fact, me says to say tertiary education be free with the new MPP manifesto, no tertiary education because abaye ma osika ama wo dia was it the national identification card. And he says we don't even think about because it sounds so or say ube mao national service period year free now at the same time 1 year grace period no. That means a bani abaya or one share mao say ube year juma no etimi idol. It's basically tertiary education is also free. But I want me per se me simu dua bio say TVET e free dada ntino me sra wo for se moma no select ya menya anka ye nessa ni hu ye na Ghana manu ochemu aduonum already have selected technical and vocational institution if we say TVET e free madam ase emma mo chief we nyina ajo
yes so ye da say ye tonsa efreo na obaye openi kwanchefo a ono ene da Codvet ano Codvet ene Ministry of Education mon krabata omo ehwe technical and vocational education Dr. Fred Chi Asamwa eda se apowo hopa nti ebesa ado ababiem na o minister nso so deputy minister on the ano tenya kwamba na obeto aso ne ehun hihye pa moye nyamenka monyam
menso sa mesmedawase
go down.
As a TVET no one's about no diabano. Na comments be nipa de ban say Maya de pan so no. Kanyan yem say you know table na say. Inti amontani kada ni table no so.
And then no yes
so back. You better yes so. Ah you better yes so busa for mo de munya botre. First kaka say munta muchuku. Munya be hu siditi George kwata denta maka wase na ma e dia ya kra bibia beba mamosa aka facts and figures motime de ato abontin obasa de se bibia sikwam
enti no obehwe na dia keka no ye metete ho kakra na god ye ma ye ho sima kakra bi na yemfa aboafo enkrato emra
okay
isanse dwumade companies bi ena bo ho ka na mpanimfo kan se de otoya amea one ntobiem aha ma de otoya me de ameji se onye bi beto enti omo a ombo dwumade ho ka na omo adaromanti amamfo eti omo enka no yenti omo nkrato yenko en bowling point omo 107.1 FM ashfm okumase ene affiliate stations akaningina yentie Winum nearby.
Wonderful, praise the Lord. Bishop Wache Champoni, presiding bishop, Living Temple, Resurrection Power and Living Bread Ministries. Kotobabi, Emaniji Seme Tonsa Freo Sekwesia Day, Nekwesia de Bia no join in live service free 11 a.m. to 12 noon. If you do back at the Kosi Dumi no. Ebra ye de Radiasem Ebreo our man 107.1 FM. Enu abusua no fie nyina momo abo amoho ano ka kire wadofo na megidi se edane mre na wie ye no Erade nam nasem ene Resurrection Power and Living Bread Ministries so ebe ye nshira kese e de ama
no kofa bae wasan de 3CP papa ebeboa efie bia aba mese adepa de etwamu da wo de 3CP egu nsom dware a eba ho ban efi muamoa ho fa 3CP efren so huhuru wanu anopa bia na ma wo se ho ban wonu aduane na eja ana esohie ehyewo a fa 3CP efren so fifa so eno ano no wo shewu wi a fa 3CP efra enso fifa so na beboa obebre 3CP ehye pimples epompo ekro na ekumkro animnumu ya wonso 3CP so de enye na wodra stores biamu atufonko adepa pharmacy ene SGSSB ene hwani mu okanshi frɛ 0302 664 832 Kumasi adepa pharmacy ewa dum ene Hello FM ene hwani mu 3CP efie bia hia 3CP bambo
Tobacco roofing na monpreyanie Tobacco roofing wasisem se wo besi dan den chance papa boso na achama wonti ana Tobacco kai wo se eba alusin ani aluminium roofing set self lock IBR IDT ani de keke ho de a wadam fua Tobacco akofa leasing premium a Australia technology ahwehwemu aya Tobacco fonko ane tobie e wa Ghana Tobacco roofing products ani on leasing premium afe eche enye pentimamento enfedi anwe na ache na nsuro eponchene woto obema 20 years warranty Tobacco roofing saye alusin anasa aluminium ana new leasing premium kotobi wo wanakache wo wakaso budumbulam opposite Triple X Mile 11 aban Kaswa Toll Booth Adanta one West Africa Secondary School di hwenu for 0244 468 819 0302 957 598 Tobacco roofing sheets evergreen.
But so we are best cocoa family. We be bias. When you scrape your canyon, I'm not going to none nervous.
Oh, really? Or AMG cocoa fertilizer another room. Listen, or your fertilizer, Odzimu
100%.
Or assassin Musazi bit today. Nitrogen, phosphorus,
Potassium,
calcium, zinc, no more campi. Share only Shannon so. Fertilizer sign one nitrate nitrogen. Zeko agrochemical shop yarema. Ebenye biato. Inti kwekwe kwafo etufu. Anaye koko hoduma kona kaje woze. Koda koto fertilizer. Some another one. AMG Kukunti fertilizer. Asa hutu.
Fertilizer papenye.
OWUSU Unisex boutique fresh from Osamumra. Okofani ma papa fefra brochure aba. Ebia so the 10% discount atosu. OWUSU Unisex boutique wade emania maye Italian leather shoes aba. Bags and slippers are abasu bebre na aba. Mary Kay Cosmetics, custom jewelry, designer perfumes and so ade bebre aba. Mani mema mo nine so pa. Shoe plus akofa bi aba. Obema wo quality Italian leather shoes. Tesa Peter Ascot and quality no mo de bi aba. Afi sandals, belts, khaki trousers, jeans, Italian shirt, any quality designer watches and so on the aba. Amount for quality and we hear more. OWUSU Unisex boutique say our aftershave and the colognes they say Givenchy, Lagerfeld and oil perfumes. OWUSU Unisex boutique say 10% discount at the Niamey Ninasu. OWUSU Unisex boutique Wojolu Said Plaza ground floor I Benjolu Junction
0244 649379.
Ebisu Watesano Ebe Police Depot North Kaneshi Road Nusu
0244 649379.
OWUSU Unisex boutique a be a new branch will OWUSU about 50 meters from MTN Junction.
Hey, Unya, oh, Kawi, you mean feely, smooth. Kawi, fuel of the Guman Gold Super XP Ron 95. I have one additives, Papa B. Gold Super XP Ron 95. And there's an debut. Gold Super XP Ron 95 on a higher grade fuel. Now, so no one no more fuel near Pepe. How much a die and send you and Rentamo until Bomro Siska and a Sansu who engine no more Phoebe frame. Canon was also into when you know. Nibone normal for near Pepe. Go Super XP Ron 95 for dear. And who here said driver via Becas would Jessica extra via hydrate fuel. Golly, I ain't in na. Goyle. Good energy.
Don't come here. Don't come me. Don't come milli. Don't come millet. Don't come me wa.
Franco Trading Enterprise. At the
up to 30% cool discount deal. And the Emma war, depending on what you buy.
Phones, accessories, tablets, flat screen, TV, laptops, and all printers. Franco Trading Enterprise, yes, sort it out.
And when you download the Franco app, Google Play Store, ne place the order, near my good discount, cool job.
And your papa paying now, Pebia, when you Franco branches in Yadada, Brownie Mobi, your be new branches, UTC roundabout or our Despa building at Chihuahua, La Paz, near New Boy Junction, opposite Prudential Bank, a beyond new branch on them, after circle or door rise, opposite EcoBank branch, our Osu Oxford Street, Tama, Waterworks, and one of my Franco,
Ebiso Madina, Hato, Koforidia, Ho, and the Kaswa, and our friend 0302-225651 and a 0546-133188.
Franco Trading Enterprise, sell, phone, Papa Fee, and you're not going.
And Commodore, their question, I won't or better harden.
When Kwame could be a menuma, now, Obiaska.
I'm afraid a small honey say, Ubio Numua, ya in Caboni Biba. Very unpleasant. Now, Ubio Ruquaya, on for some control.
And you say, Minimo, my sister, me toothpaste,
my bravo, cleansing charcoal toothpaste, and the activated charcoal whitening mouthwash, a bogam no bang, and my Osia dins, a pampan if you were num, a bessiano, and what antibacterial properties here, a boa a combact bad breath. Now, activated charcoal, ye woman, and no swab, wow, ama was say, I fit.
Cleansing charcoal toothpaste, any activated charcoal whitening mouthwash. I am a last stop.
Yes, it's no, then an animal BD, a true one, Seno, Emma was see a camano, with the more research at home. So, who called Royal Dutch Pharmaceuticals, our Adabraka, opposite Evangel Assemblies of God Church, and our friend 027-665-2200, and 056-188-6514.
FD Ashusha Sa Ejedian Kratoimu Adja to Musa Eye.
Malaria fever, Montaria, loss of appetite, Montaria, Montaria.